Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another Slime Time rendition.
Twitch, shut up.
Yeah, we don't have Moon here because Moon has decided that we're not friends enough with him. He said he was doing Thanksgiving. He said he was doing Friendsmas or Friendsgiving, I think is the term.
Friendsgiving, yep.
Friendsgiving.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay.
Fucking Twitch ads.
But yeah, so we have that. So he's not showing up today because apparently we're not good enough friends for him to hang out with.
We don't have turkey or stuffing here. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If we did, then we'd do it right away.
Oh, don't you worry.
So.
Don't you worry. I got a fist ready to stuff that turkey.
That's not food. That's your fist.
All right, I'm
for
just locking the door,
punching.
putting the sign
Have you
up
never
so
heard
no
of a
one's
knuckle
bothering
sandwich?
me.
No, I have. I've had some of those with extra cheese.
With extra cheese. Some
Yeah.
from under cheese. Yeah. It's like, that's not food.
Ugh.
That's your fist. I'm like, oh, come on. You never heard of a knuckle
Yeah,
sandwich?
my knuckle sandwich.
Yeah, there we go. See? He knew what I
Yeah.
was going with.
Yeah, I know. What you're
I taught my niece today. I taught my niece see you later, alligator, after a while, crocodile.
I thought
She
it was
only
in a
heard-
while.
She'd only heard the first half. I guess it depends
see you
on
later,
where.
alligator.
I guess it depends on where you geographically are located. But I've always heard after a while, crocodile.
I hear that a lot too.
But
Up your ass, sea bass.
what?
Oh, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Nas.
Wow. All right, so we don't have Bookwalker this week to go through. That sucks.
Yowie.
Highly recommended.
They'll be able to find it.
I have a recommended series for anybody that wants to read some more, get some more reading going on for their holiday experience, or if they're looking for suggestions for their loved ones on something to get you for your holiday gift experience, and it's actually cheap and affordable. I highly recommend the light novel series. It is only available on ebook right now if you're reading it via light novel, but you can also get it on audiobook. I think audiobook might be a little more expensive. But the the acronym is T-bait, which is funny. But the beginning after the end. Really good series.
Is that a...
Really good series by a Korean writer who lives in DC. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Interesting.
I can't remember if he's Korean American or if he's Korean migrated to the U.S. I'm like, if you migrated to the U.S. and your choice of place was to live in D.C., boy, did you pick the worst place.
Shem, I love how you're bundling up, and I literally just opened my window because it's getting hot in here.
Oh, no,
You're
getting
getting
a little
cold.
chilly
I'm
here.
getting hot in here.
Oh, yeah. We're getting...
Yeah.
All the cold weather patterns are going to be hitting us this week. Meanwhile, you're going to get all the heat.
Yay! I love it.
The West Coast is getting the majority of the heat. And funny enough, it's specifically the West Coast. Idaho, Montana, and places like that. Like anything east
Up
of
there.
anything Idaho and east is going to be getting that whole ass cold front. And that cold front is
we had like a freak winter almost
Yeah.
like a couple weeks back, so this
Here's-
kind of makes up for that, I guess.
Here's the thing. This cold front is going to push so far down south that it's going to hit Mexico City. But you're going to miss it.
Oh,
Well,
does that mean I still have to
Or
bring
you.
in the firewood?
here's the funny thing.
Yes.
You know,
Either way.
you know who else is also going to be going through extreme heat temperatures this week?
Moon?
Alaska.
Oh.
Alaska
Yeah,
is
oh.
gonna be
Alaska,
going
by,
through.
by chance?
Yeah, no, Moon does not live in Alaska. He lives in Georgia. He's
I was gonna
5
say.
minutes.
Oh yeah,
he's
that makes
5
sense
hours
because you
away
two were
from
live
me.
together. That would be a lot harder. If
It
that
would
were
be
the
a
case.
lot harder, dude.
It'd be harder than me and you being in the same room together.
He had to drive. He had to drive through Canada and then most of the continental U.S. You know,
He'd have to come by my pier and then drive down to you.
he'd have to drive to
Jeez.
Anchorage, catch a flight, and then I'd pick him up at the airport. You know.
No, he'd have to go to the ferry to get to here, drive to Seattle, go to flight there down to there, yeah, and then you'd pick them up.
Mm.
They have
See,
they
Oh
have
yeah, if you're in
airports.
Alaska, there you go.
They have airports in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess I could just do that.
Anyhow, since we don't have a moon, we don't have a Bookwalker. But yes,
Sorry
I
about
highly
that.
recommend Beginning After the End. It's a very good
I mean,
series.
assume they'll probably like if they were here last week, they would know exactly what play is because I don't think we've done anything different since then.
No.
I don't think so.
So it wouldn't be hard to figure that out.
I mean,
Assuming they
there's
didn't
got to be
read
like
or
a
change their
search
pages or
function on
anything.
that, where they
Oh,
can
yeah.
just type in a sentence that I say or something like that, and they can find where we're at.
Just say
You know.
the one sentence real quick. Be like, okay, now we're gonna let everyone Bookwalker kind of get a minute to find it, and then we're good.
That would require me to slow down.
That would require you
And
to stop reading,
I
and
speed
Richie
read.
needs his beauty sleep.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I have that time stamped too.
I don't know what you're
Oh,
talking
you
about.
saved it? You archived it?
No, I didn't archive it, but I like got the link of it,
Okay.
and I got saved at that time.
Actually, the audiobook is 4 cents cheaper. So there you go.
Wow.
Beginning After the End, the most recent book is a $5.99 on Kindle. Very, very cheap. So
Oh, you
I
know
think
what?
I bought the entire series. I think I bought the
Is it
entire
done?
series. No, it's not done.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But I bought all 10 books for like, I think $50. And keep in mind,
okay.
guys, these ebooks, some of these ebooks, I think volume 8 is like 900 pages.
Duh.
So it's not.
That's a lot.
It's not.
What comparison to our novels? How much is that?
I don't know how big was the last volume of Slime on ebook.
400
I mean,
something.
you
I
have
think.
the physical copies right there. You
Yeah,
could
but
just
there's
say.
no physical copies of this. There's no physical copies
Of that ebook.
There's no
ebook.
physical copies of the book.
I think
that
it
you're
depends
holding
on how big your
physically in
window
your
is, too.
hand. Yes.
No, that is not what I was talking
No,
about.
he's.
There's no physical copies of the beginning after the end.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that book.
Because it's just as an ebook right now. There's no physical
You're
copy yet.
asking for
Right.
for a comparison between the two, and I'm telling you, I'm not going to compare the physical books. I'm going to compare the digital version of.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair.
I'm going to compare the two digital versions. So it's like, okay, there were 400 pages of that. The last volume 8 was like almost 900 pages. It was a doozy. It was a doozy.
That one was thick.
It's a thick boy.
It's thick.
Extra thick. Just the way I like it.
Thickety.
Extra thick.
Yeah.
Thick,
Like my
thick,
pizza.
Yeah.
and so's your dad. Okay, so if I want to buy for others, okay, so I can buy for other people, but yeah, there's more than 10. There's more than 10 volumes. It's just 10 is what has been released. Next year they're gonna release 9, and I joined his Patreon so I could read some chapters past volume 10.
Would it be worth it to read it on stream, or would that
I think
not?
I
be good?
absolutely think it would be.
Okay, I was gonna say that could also be an idea for a stream at some point if you
Oh
wanted.
yeah, we could do like if we wanted to do like special streams, take
Like
a break
one-offs?
from Slime and read something. I mean,
Yeah,
it
like
takes a
one-offs, or
while.
we can do something else. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know we're gonna.
But
jump
then
into
you have
Mushoku
Mashoko Tensei coming up too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's
have
right. So that would
Mushoku
take
Tensei
up a lot
to
too.
catch up.
What I think it could be interesting with that is that once a month, like out of the 4 weeks of the month, one of them is dedicated to one-offs.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it'd still take us a while to read the beginning
Yeah,
after the
because
end,
I'm.
but it's
Yeah.
still good. And guys, there's also a comic for it out.
Pause that.
We were talking about this
Oh.
yesterday over on the art stream. So if you want to check that out, some manhwa comic. It was also really funny. Like, Miki and I were talking about manhwa, and Doger did not know that the Korean version of manga is manhwa, and he thought we were doing a bit, and he was like, I'm getting really frustrated. I was like, about what? And it turns out
Keep mispronouncing this word.
you're
I don't
saying
like
it wrong, and I'm saying what wrong? Manhwa? He goes, yeah. I go, no. Manga is Japan. Manhwa is Korea. Like, there is a
That's
difference.
stupid. It should be the same thing.
No, it shouldn't. Two
Because
different
I
countries.
dictate it.
No. But no, it just meant that Doger didn't know that that's what it was. So it's kind of interesting. For those who don't know the difference between manhwa and manga, highly encourage you to check out some manhwa. Specifically, Tower of God. Because the first season of the anime is literally the prologue of the manhwa. Oh,
Okay.
and they have announced Tower of God season 2 coming out in July of next year. Looking forward to
Wow.
that. Yeah. And of course, another very, very famous, very popular manhwa is Solo Leveling, which will be coming out.
Ooh, yeah.
Which will be coming
That
out.
already
in
has
January.
dub.
Yeah, the dub trailer was released, and we talked about that on Anime Church. So they've announced some of the cast, and they've shown the trailer.
I remember what I was doing then.
The dub trailer. So looking forward to that. I'm probably going to watch it in both. I also need to catch up on... I need to watch Scott Pilgrim, the new Scott Pilgrim show.
Oh, I do too. Yeah.
And I still have not seen the Slime trilogy OVA thing. Season 3 of Slime is dropping in the spring. The spring anime season. That's when we're getting Slime season 3, and I'm hoping it's just part 1 or whatever. But the second battle between Hinata and Rimuru will begin in the spring.
Seems like in forever ago.
Round
honestly.
2, baby.
Right?
Yeah.
See, now that we're reading this, it feels like forever.
Yeah.
That having been
It's like,
said,
we know what's gonna happen, and it's all gonna be like old news. We're just gonna see how pretty they made it and how accurate they did to the book.
That having been said, it is time to jump into Slime. So, ladies and gentlemen of the congregation, please open your holy books of Rimuruism to page 52 of the physical copy. Deacon Shim, where do they need to be in the Kindle version?
The Kindle land.
Page 53. 53. 15% of the way through.
Okay.
Yeah.
15%.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
That's Tim Malcolmson. He has diabetes.
All right, so Shim is going to be taking over. I believe that now let's have them go back in line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I'm at too.
All you Bookwalker people, if you have search, look that up.
Mm-hmm. There's got to be something on there.
I will not be falling asleep this time. I had plenty of sleep, so we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
I also
I got my G Fuel, so don't worry about me.
I need to fold some clothes and make some dinner, so please
right.
just go right into it.
Okay.
I'll be the color commentary.
Okay. Now let's have them go back in line and get the next lucky winners up on stage. Ranga, Hakuro, Testarossa, Ultima, Carrera, come on up. Can't have Gobta without Ranga. I couldn't imagine having any close advisor except Hakuro. And the 3 demonesses I had serving us observers and information officers spoke for themselves. Upon my command, Ranga crept out from my shadow. Hakuro stepped up as well, a bit zombie-like in his shuffling gait. Testarossa was as graceful as ever. Ultima, light and breezy, and Carrera was as regal as a queen. All of them ascended the platform and kneeled before me. Since they were so nicely lined up, I figured I'd give their awards in order. First, Ranga. He did a hell of a job saving Gobta. Ranga, I can see you have mastered fighting in a team of Gobta. I also thank you for offering him your protection. Not at all, my master. I only did what anyone else would have done. Yeah. Oh, cute of him. But I know you're happy to have me praise you, so stop wagging your tail all over the place, could you? From this day forward, you may call yourself Star-Lord. Okay. Yes, my master.
Oh my god.
It's very good. He accepted it with an appreciative howl, and then the soul corridor, yeah. And then the soul corridor opened between us. His evolution began immediately, just like mine, and the harvest festival was promptly underway. Master, sleepy. Don't force it. There was no reason to hold back. I put Ranga back in my shadow and let him rest inside. If I had to guess, the other demon wolves would receive their blessings as well. I couldn't wait to see how the evolution would turn out. Ranga, to his credit, quietly fell asleep in my shadow, not letting the power overtake him. That made it 4 down. As of that moment, I didn't see anything to worry about, but better keep my head up until the end, I suppose. Next came Hakuro. You performed your role as Gupta's advisor with an expert hand. I thank you for it. Oh, don't be silly. Gupta has matured magnificently. He will hardly need my help at all before long. No, there's a huge difference between you being present or not. Now for your reward. One moment, Sir Rimuru. If I may, It's already more than enough that you've decided to you've heeded my daughter Momiji's wishes. Oh, right. I did say that, didn't I? But I wasn't going to accept that. That's a different matter. I want Benimaru Momiji to be happy too, after all. Besides, as her father, I'm sure you have some mixed feelings about Alvis jumping in, don't you? I switched to thought communication for this since it let us talk without taking up much time in front of his audience. Really useful stuff. I did, yes, but I believe in this young man, Sir Benimaru, and I know when I look in his or at my daughter's eyes that her feelings are true. Thus, I am satisfied. Good then. I have no doubt he can make them both happy. Whether they can have a child, God only knows, but they'll try. They'll try. So, well, give me a sec here. It's important that I give credit where credit is due, you know? So I asked Kurobe to forge a masterpiece for you. I hope you'll take it and keep all this labor from going to waste. That's right. I had a newly forged sword for Kurobe for him. Kurobe had been improving his skills by leaps and bounds. The workmanship on this piece is nothing short of excellent, making it a legend equivalent work of art. Benimaru's blade was also at Kurobe's forge for repairs, by the way. In the previous battle, he wasn't able to tap his full potential due to the difference in weapon performance he faced. And when Kurobe heard that, he was both crestfallen and eager to reforge the blade. I'm gonna make it the best blade I can, he told me, and he's still holed up in his workshop with it. That particular sword wasn't quite up to that level, but Kurobe still put a lot of work into it, and I'm sure Hakuro will love it. Ah, Kurobe did that? Well, in that case, I will gladly accept it. Great. Feel free to then. Good, good. If he declined it, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Modesty is a virtue and all that, but really, I think everyone's being a little too reserved up here. Let's go on. Do not worry, Hakuro. This is something I've prepared exclusively for you. Please do not hesitate to take it. I, Hakuro, accept this with my full heart. I promise not to let your kindness go to waste, Sir Rimuru. And so Hakuro accepted the sword. Next up were my demoness pals. Oh. At first, I wasn't totally sure what I'd do with them. If adding to their strength was all I thought about, then evolving these 3 demon peers would be my best bet. But as I told Benimaru and Geld, I opted against it for now. I didn't quite have enough souls for everyone. Yes, but more than that, I wasn't sure I could control them afterwards. I really had no idea how strong they get, so I had to put any evolution on hold. These 3 were on the same rank as Diablo, so for now I decided to evolve Diablo first and see how he did. I have my concerns about Diablo 2 in a much different way, but, well, best not to worry about it. The way I saw it, Diablo was head and shoulders above the rest of his kin regardless. It was funny to see the range of strength present among the primal demons. 3 demonesses were under my direct control and trusted Diablo, and so I decided to consider their evolution once Diablo was complete, or Diablo's was complete. Of course, I didn't have enough souls in my collection to evolve all 3 of them right now. They all seem to have a good balance going on with each other, so evolving one over the other would present some problems, no? It'd be dangerous, I guess you could say, if I didn't evolve them all at the same time. It could lead to serious trouble. That was why I didn't evolve Carrera alone, despite what Geld suggested. Besides, if you looked at magical counts alone, Carrera was ahead of Diablo on that tally. Giving her more power seemed like too risky of a bet. Uncontrollable power will be the death of her, and of us maybe. Her nuclear class gravity collapse magic was already too crazy to contemplate. It could even blow people like Geld away if we weren't careful. Maybe she had it fully under control, but the way she just busted that out without a moment's hesitation made me a little more than anxious. Safety first and so on. I figured we could wait and see how things went before making a decision on their evolutions. Testarossa, Ultima, Carrera, all 3 of you have done a tremendous job as information officers. The souls you have collected are also being put to good use today. Perhaps you may not like how I'm using what you've collected for other people, but I consider not telling them about their potential for evolution at all. But Testa and her pals really did do a good job collecting those souls. It'd be rude to leave them in the dark, I thought, but they vigorously disagreed. What are you talking about, Sir Rimuru? There's no way we could ever be unhappy with you. Right, we're the ones who can't repay you enough. Both of them speak the truth, my lord. We are already fully satisfied. We have been granted bodies, and even names for that matter. That has been more than enough to strengthen us. All 3 of them denied any dissatisfaction with my decision. And yeah, maybe they are too strong already, but all 3 of them are probably still stronger than the freshly awakened Gabiru. I had to agree with them, but they still had a reward coming. I'm glad to hear that from you. You make me feel like my heart's never far away from your minds, and I appreciate it. That's why I want you to accept the rewards I prepared for you. Rewards? But, well, can't say no to that, can we? Right? It'd be too much trouble for me if they said no, so I wanted to shut the door on that first thing. In recognition of your work, I hereby acknowledge you as full members of my leadership. Your duties will be the same as before, but in times of war, you'll be granted partial command authority. I'll also grant you new titles. Testarossa was the Killer Lord, Ultima the Pain Lord, Carrera the Menace Lord. I thought up those titles after consulting with a few people. They might sound pretty harsh, I guess, but it's exactly what they were up to during this war. As leaders, their role was to focus on combat, so I thought this was a pretty good fit, actually. From this day forward, I grant you permission to call yourselves by those titles, and from now on, I expect you to serve as my close confidants, exactly like the old guard. As you wish. The three of them
As
bowed
you
their
wish.
heads. Yeah, you had to, as you wish,
As you, yeah, if something like
Yeah.
that just has to be tag
The
in.
princess lord, yeah, the princess lord, the princess bride thing, yeah. The three of them bowed their heads in unison. I guess they liked their rewards. Good thing they didn't complain, I thought as they filed back to their column. Okay, let's keep this pace going. The next people were the groups that performed well for me in the labyrinth. Bovix and Equix were each given a new set of equipment, or a set of new equipment. Ghidorah was officially promoted to Guardian of Floor 60, which meant he was entrusted with the Demon Colossus. Beretta was thus officially retired as head of the 10 Dungeon Marvels, Ghidorah taking his place. In addition, I granted Ghidorah access to the research facilities dotted across the labyrinth. He'd be working on R&D for us going forward, so now felt like a good opportunity to place my full trust in him. He seemed elated at the news, so I guess it was the right reward. If he steals our research data, well, I'll deal with it then, but I don't think I have much to worry about. He's just a friendly old man, hard to dislike, and I hope he'll do his best as one of us going forward. That all went without a hitch. Next was the main course. Beretta, the now retired Dungeon Marvel, and the four Dragon Lords in the Labyrinth were not technically working under me. Ramirez was their boss, so I left them out of these proceedings for now. My attention was currently on Nine-Head Kamara, Guardian of Floor 90, Insect Kaiser, Zegian, Guardian of Floor 80, Insect Queen Apito, Floor Boss of Floor 79, Immortal King Adelman, Guardian of Floor 70, and Death Paladin Alberto, Advanced Guardian of Floor 70. A real rogues gallery if I ever saw one. I doubt I had to worry about any of them falling out of control at this point, but let's evolve them one by one. First up, Kamara. I was giving her the title of Chimera Lord. Maybe it was because she had gained her revenge in this battle, but she had a much better developed sense of presence now. It's funny to think she was my enemy when we first met. You never do know how these things will turn out. Clayman might have been controlling her, but she had now defeated Colonel Kansas, the man behind it all. I was proud of her for that. I let her in the labyrinth entirely because Ranga told me she was good at cultivating forests. I was advised to let her guard floor 90, and that's exactly what I did. If it weren't for that, she still might have been that little fox kid for all I know. I'd always recognized that she was a powerful young monster, but not even I imagined she'd become a dungeon marvel in such a short time. But maybe it was destined to happen after I named her, though, huh? I have to thank Ranga for suggesting that. Anyway, Kamara was now the master of 8 different magical beasts. They were serving as the bosses of floor 82 through 89, each a calamity level threat. Together, they were called the 8 Legions, and they looked kind of familiar to me, actually. A few days after I gave her the name Kamara, I decided to check on her during a walk, and Kamara asked me to call her friends by their names, revealing to me this group of adorable little monsters. I had experienced countless failures when it came to naming monsters, so I knew the danger I'd be risking, but all Kamara wanted me to do was call the tail beasts the names she had already given them. I figured that was safe enough, so casually I took the job. I'm sure it's clear, of course, but that I didn't say yes just because it was the most darling little girl asking me with her doe eyes and everything. No way. Okay.
Baby doll eyes.
Yeah, she did the. Yeah, I can't do that. But anyway, and well, I didn't think it turned out
I
like
can't do it.
this. Yeah, I can't. No, I don't think it turned out like this. And I'm starting to suspect that I really did name them after all. I can tell you that the 8 creatures she showed me certainly didn't fight like that. Oh, Richie's not here. Affirmative. Strictly speaking, they are not the same, but rather a similar phenomenon to what existed before. The end result was a strengthening of the bonds between the subject Kamara and her tail beast. Ah, I knew it. I didn't notice at the time because those mythic beasts didn't go into sleep mode or exhibit any other changes, but the moment I saw them in battle, I thought it could have been true. Those powerful little critters, now incredibly vicious and powerful legions. Talk about your crazy before and after transformations. Everyone was shocked, and so was I. Kamara, after all, technically got not 1, but 9 names out of me. Thanks to that, the 8 legions each built a stronger bond with her. The power that each one gained through absorbing magicules also fed back to Kamara herself, which led to the overall strength we see today. Well, what's done is done, I guess. Kamara might have been defeated in war if all that didn't happen. So if it all works out in the end, I'm happy. I poured my souls into Kamara, and she wound up completing her awakening in an instant. The 8 legions lined up behind her as they emerged back into her body. Then 9 tails sprouted out of her. The original one was now a golden color, while the other ones were a shining silver. They were all quite beautiful, but the upgrade to Kamara's beauty was even more impressive. She was so filled out and enchanting that it was hard to imagine her as an immature young girl any longer. The magnetism was greater than ever before. Her long hair had changed from its previous dark brown to a golden color, like stalks of wheat in the sunlight, and it ran down her back with a silky sheen. Was it her beauty that evolved mainly? No. She had more magicals now, of course, already surpassing the awakened Gabiru. I definitely wasn't expecting this. Kamara herself could hold her own in combat for sure, but it was only when she combined with her 8 legions to go into Chimera mode that she reached the apex of her powers. Conversely, when Kamara becomes stronger, so do her 8 legions. Since they're all named, they're connected to my soul, and they also receive blessings from Kamara's own evolution. And that, as unfair as that may seem, get fed back into Kamara, powering up even more. It was like Kamara monopolized all the power I could give. I sensed some calculated scheming on her part, something very unbecoming of her beauty. That must be why she didn't get along with the much more right-minded Apito too much. Still, there's no way such a rapid evolution could weigh or couldn't weigh Kamara down hard. She seemed to be struggling to stay conscious. She was a control risk at this rate, and I didn't want her overdoing it. Go back and rest, I gently ordered her. She looked a little peeved, but meekly listened to me. Chances are she'd go to sleep like Ranga while she got used to her boosted force. Either way, I looked forward to her growth. I mean, she's already a real looker at this point, but you know what I mean. For now, though, it was back to her guardian realm with her. I know I don't know what you mean, Rimuru. Please explain to me in full detail, taking up the entire chapter. Anyway, the event continued. Zejian and Apito were next, and I wanted to tackle the latter first. Apito, you fought a superb battle. That Minutes guy looked like one tough dude, even among the other Imperial generals. You demonstrated strength equal to his, and that's something to be proud of. I didn't really mean for Apito to get as strong as that at first. What I was looking for was honey, and as long as her hides produced enough high-quality goods, I was happy. But here she was, insect queen and part of the 10 dungeon marvels. Kind of odd, really. Oh, don't be silly. I'm not even close to where I want to be. I have lost all my kin, and even then, that was only enough to fight to a draw. No, that's not. I was trying to deny it, but when I saw Apito's smile, I stopped. This time, I was unable to seize complete victory. Thus, I do not see myself as worthy of receiving a reward. Well, yeah, but if I am allowed to make a wish, would you allow the souls of my brethren who died in battle to reside within me once more? Hold on, what? She may not want a reward, but this wish seems pretty damn reckless to me. She must have had the impression that I'm this omnipotent wonder slime, but she's wrong. I just don't see how that could be. Report. It is possible. Oh, I
Report.
can? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And also, yeah,
I think we should just trade
I was
off
waiting.
doing it
Okay,
until he gets
sure,
back.
why not? Sure, why not?
report. It is possible.
Oh, I can? Maybe Raphael's the omnipotent one here. All right, in that case, I will instill the spirits of the dead within you. Apito's brethren were magical insects we hadn't gotten around to giving resurrection bracelets to. I'm not sure they had spirits exactly, but it seemed appropriate. Thank you kindly. This pleases me greatly. Apito didn't qualify for an evolution, but I figured she'd have a blessing coming her way via Zegians. I was planning to ask her what she wanted all along, and she seemed happy to do this, or happy with this, so I guess that was the right approach. Next came Zegian. He was the strongest among the Marvels, so I considered putting him off for now, but I also felt like there wasn't much need for worry. One look at his calm demeanor told me he didn't seem to be in any danger of going berserk. It's just what I would expect from the most powerful member of the Labyrinth. Even Raphael acknowledged his unparalleled combat sense, and his magical count rivaled Benimaru's. No wonder he was good enough to train under Veldora, learning some wacky fighting moves picked up from manga along the way. They explained his performance in this past battle, too. Zejian single-handedly defeated the strongest members of the Imperial Army, hardened soldiers the other Marvels struggled with. Taking them all at once like he did, he'd look like an idiot if he lost, but he crushed them with ease, wasting no time beating even the worst among them. He had definitely proven his might, and really, I think he might be stronger than your average Demon Lord. Even with my true Demon Lord awakening, I fear he could still beat me if I blew it bad. And I wanted to awaken this guy? Suddenly, I wasn't so sure about this. Diablo and his kin couldn't beat him either. Too late for that, huh? Maybe I was creating the equivalent of several awakened Demon Lords here, but there was no point chewing my fingernails over it now. I given souls to... like,
the damage.
Oh, I could
You've already
end the
named
world.
him.
Yeah, I
He's
mean, he already
stronger
has...
than you.
Yeah, and he's already got, several demons under him, the primals, all the onis, all that. Oh, I think he'll be fine.
Like,
I'd given
I'd be-
souls to 5 people so far.
He would be
Go ahead.
like Rimuru would be avenged with Zejian. Zejian could very easily take over as the Demon Lord. Benimaru could just take over as the leader of Tempest.
I don't know if Zeduin will want to, or Benimaru would. Benimaru's a dad. Well, will be a dad soon, man. He's got responsibilities.
Yeah. Well, Benimaru, I believe, is being like groomed as the replacement should something happen to Rimuru. I know that. I was saying like Neji
maybe
could be
so.
like, look, we'll have you be the demon, like in title Demon Lord, because let's be honest, you really are worthy of that title and of your own right.
Yeah.
Granted, a lot of them
Yeah,
are
for
but
real.
It's just a matter of who's stronger, Zejian or Benimaru.
Yeah, I guess that would. Well,
Zejian.
I don't think I would like to see it. Yeah,
In terms of power,
that would be a bad
Oh no,
fight.
Zejian.
I wouldn't want to see them fight.
Power and
I wouldn't wanna
Oh,
see
ability.
so
them
you
fight, though.
were hearing that too. Okay.
Oh yeah, I can
Mm-hmm.
hear everything that you guys were talking about and reading and saying
Okay.
and all that. It's just I had my mic on mute while I was doing stuff. So I know that
okay.
we're
Yeah,
I
fair.
know that we're up to Zejian, and so yeah, I'm sitting here trying to find what page I'm on in physical media.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh yeah, you don't have an easy search. Yeah.
Once the celebration
Did you want me
ended,
to? Yeah, it
were
was.
we almost there?
Gotcha.
Or
I
have
had-
we passed that?
No, we were. I had given souls to 5 people so far,
Okay.
and the evolution ritual was now well underway.
Okay, so it's okay. So I'm actually a page back from where I thought we were. Cool.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
cool.
Okay.
All right. I'd given souls to 5 people so far, and the evolution ritual was now well underway. In fact, I've been starting to feel power flow into me as of a little while ago. My food chain skill was feeding the results of the sleeping recipient's harvest festival back to me. It was a massive amount of force, but my body was taking it in without any problem. I guess all this promotion was tapping my reserves. No problem then. Momentum is important with this kind of thing. So let's keep this ball rolling, I say. Don't fall back now. Keep going. And look at it this way. How strong do you think Zejian will turn out? Isn't that exciting? It was for me, anyway. The thing is, remember, that thanks to Food Chain, even if there's a chance he'd surpass me, I always wind up on top in the end. Hoping that turned out to be actually true, I continue with the ritual, shelving my worries. Your strength astounds me. Honestly, I never thought you would attain these heights. It is all thanks to your guidance, Sir Rimuru. No, that was Veldora mentoring you. Hang on. Raphael was lurking in the shadows with this too, huh? Maybe Zejian thought that was me all along. Correcting him would take too long to explain, though, so let's just go with that. Enough modesty. It is your unrelenting efforts that brought you this far. I hope you continue to refine your strength for me, and from this day forward, I hereby grant you the title of Mist Lord. Yes, my lord. Nothing could elate me more. Zejian was as reticent as ever, but even I could tell how moved and shaken he was by my words. I was just speaking off the cuff, but it must have sounded like the gospel to him. He must be applying more of a worship filter than I thought. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but
Look,
I
if
mean,
you-
he has to
look,
get behind Diablo about that. Huh?
Look, you name them.
Is it?
This is what happens.
They get attached. They
Is
love you.
Rimuru suddenly like was? It did seem like at
Oh
some
no
point
no
he
no
was,
no no!
like-
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is actual Rimurism at work.
Yes. They're all completely grateful.
Yeah.
There are people
at this
that
point,
100%
I'm now more of like,
worship
okay,
him.
at first he was.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
about to that's going on what I was saying. It
Yeah.
seemed like at first, like when he first became a demon lord, he like Reamer seemed to be like the strongest. Like, you know, he was up there, like pretty like among everyone else, arguably. Now with
Mhm.
everyone else kind of getting this evolution, and even technically to someone beforehand, it now seems more of like Reamer's more like the Mr. Staten, Buggy the Buggy the
No.
Clown.
Don't
ass
get it
character,
twisted.
Who's still
Don't-
pretty strong.
Don't get it twisted. Food Chain is actually empowering him as well. So
Yeah.
all the skills and
true.
abilities, that they unlock are also now his. Like
Yeah, so
while they
it's-
may
Oh,
be
so he's still strongest.
while they
technically.
may be on the same level of power, none of them have Raphael.
He's Ditto. kinda.
And
access to
and
every skill,
Some of
yeah.
their evolutionary power is working in reverse. Like as it is evolving everybody that is under them, some of that power is coming back and feeding him. So he's getting incremental
Incremental.
upgrades
Oh, okay.
in power.
Jesus.
So when Benimaru leveled up, Rimuru leveled up a little. Like, it wasn't a lot. He didn't go up a full level, but he went up, like, maybe a quarter of a level, and he's named 5
Like, if
people
Benimaru
now.
went up 2 levels, he went up, like,
It's
1.
like the
Yeah,
it's like the EXP
but he's
share.
staying.
He gets
He's
a little
staying
chunk.
ahead. He's staying ahead. He's essentially All right. So everybody is coming up to the level of kind of where Rimuru was when he became a demon lord, but
And
he
all of that
also-
is accumulating and feedbacking onto him.
and feedbacking on him because he's getting a little bit of their evolutionary bump in power. But more importantly is the skills that he's getting from everybody, and the fact that he has Raphael to help him use that. I mean.
And process
And
it
use
all.
it.
Yeah,
Well.
I mean, Rimuru is still going to be top dog, no matter what. Even if they were all at the same level, they would all revere Rimuru because he's the one that gave them names. In the demon's case, his bodies.
Saved them.
And then, furthermore, he's going to evolve the demons.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
Just
So,
cue the Pokemon the old 8-bit jingle.
bump, 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 bump,
Bum,
bump.
bum,
Yep.
bum,
This is like giving them
ba-da-ba-ba.
the mega evolutions to Mewtwo. They were already strong, but they're gonna be nuking
I'm
planets.
sorry, the mega
They
evolution
already
to...
are.
I'm sorry,
Like, how far could you go?
the mega evolution to what?
Well, I'm just saying to like Mewtwo or something that
Is
like
that
didn't
fucking
need it.
Frieza?
Yeah, basically,
I fucking
it's
love
like Mewtwo was
No,
already
that's
like a
Diablo.
god.
I love
and
that.
they were
I
like,
love
"Oh,
that.
here you go."
They're gonna have to take the bus home because they're kids, and then Mewtwo flies by. Is that fucking Frieza?
Yeah,
Those are 2 different ones, but yeah, I'll let you have that.
yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, no, it's 2 different ones.
I
Yu Yu
thought-
Hakusho Bridge
Oh,
was
yeah,
they
that
have to
was
take the bus
Yu Yu
home, and
Hakusho.
then one star was that fucking Frieza, basically.
Mm.
But they did the
Never
they
did
the
Hellsing.
Pokemon.
Back when that show, back when they were
no.
sort of working on that series too.
Technically, they did. They just saved it for Kai 3.5.
Mm.
Hey, are we still doing those versus videos?
Yeah,
Are we still doing those versus videos? Nope. Oh, cool.
yeah. They well, it technically
like
was a
his
versus
jacket.
video, so
Yeah.
I do like his jacket.
And then Goku's
yeah, that's
like,
more
yeah,
Double
I like
Artemis
his jacket.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be an interesting.
Well,
Well,
they've
Double
still got-
Artemis Cell versus Helsing, like TFS Helsing or TFS Alucard.
Or a bridged cell versus a
Bridge
Devil Artemis
TFS. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
wait, no.
TFS cell
Yeah,
versus
two
yeah.
Devil Artemis Cell.
Uh-huh. 1 cell, 2 cell, red cell, blue cell.
I mean,
Anyway.
Taka's been in that show.
Oh, he has.
Anyway.
Yeah. Continuing
Now
on.
that
I mean, 100%.
Oh,
It's not surprising considering that he works on Hiffle with them. So
oh yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
we're
Sorry,
going
continuing.
What with 10 4-star?
All good. He must be applying more of a worship filter than I thought. But being adored like this isn't such a bad thing, is it? And here I thought I was just protecting a rare insect for the future. I guess it's me being protected all along. There was nothing predictable about his growth. His talents were off the charts. He was basking in a dense cloud of magicals leaking out from Veldora. He had a training environment where he could be revived after death. Add to that, the best training partner anyone could have, and you couldn't ask for much more. But there was no point quibbling over the details behind this process. He was stronger at the end of it, and that's what mattered. So I granted him my souls. He shook for just a moment, but then his will pushed back the flood of power, bringing it fully under his control. Unlike Gabiru, it was pure spirit that tamed it. At this rate, I probably looked pretty gutless for falling asleep for so long. You wouldn't think this was something you could conquer through sheer willpower or guts or whatever, but now I was seeing examples of exactly that. So there wasn't much denying it. So that was Zegian's evolution, but there was something even more terrifying about it. He had literally willed part of his outer shell to transform into the divine metal of crimson steel. Not only was he demonstrating control over the laws of physics, he had made his exoskeleton into a god-class suit of armor. His own body was a weapon, and in melee combat, I pretty much had to call him the strongest out there. For spiritual life forms like Zegian, combat strength doesn't necessarily equate to one's social status, but there's no doubt how much of a threat he is. Even now, in the middle of his evolution, it looked like he was already acquiring a litany of other powers. I think we better sit down later and see exactly what all he obtained.
Yeah, his evolution
Zegian
isn't over,
he's-
by the way. That's just like the beginning.
Yeah. And he's already like,
He's already insane.
yeah, he was already really
Do we
good.
need to name you? Are we ready to peaked you? Have you peaked? Has he picked? Raphael, has he picked?
Not yet.
Really?
He can only get stronger.
How much? How much further? Like, are we talking like Mount Everest or Himalayas? Or
I mean,
how much further can we go
Hills
here?
compared to that guy.
I don't know if there's an actual Earth comparison.
I don't think there is.
Considering that
Is there a
Veldora
Tempest?
could,
Is there a
considering that
comparison then?
Veldora
Like,
could
what
probably sneeze Everest away, and Zegian's his training partner, I'm pretty sure that Everest isn't even close. How about if we
Okay,
put
on a scale of
how about if we put
on
the
a scale of
Himalayas
Veldora, how much point Veldora are we talking here?
like a
Like
quarter Veldora?
like 60% of Veldora, like 25%,
I'd say like
What are we working with
30% Veldora.
30% Veldora. Okay, all right. How much is Rimuru? Real quick, actually, wait, real talk.
This book or next book?
Yes.
I mean, it's whatever he is, but
Okay.
a little bit more.
This
Because
book,
he has
Well,
his
let's say right
powers
now.
too.
this book, he's probably around 35% Veldora.
Oh, so only a little bit. Okay.
Mhm.
Next book, he's one Veldora.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
gonna get
Yeah.
pretty
No,
strong.
I wanted to say this one. This book. So 35. Oh, not that far off.
Oh yeah. Oh no. He gets 100% Veldora in the next book.
I know I started this as a bit, but I'm actually curious now.
Yeah.
When the kid, the
I
kid
can
becomes
tell you,
curiosity.
but
Spoilers.
it's so
Okay,
much more.
well, what-
It's so much more fun to actually read.
So are we talking
Yeah.
Zejian like 40% at the very end, or
Oh, no,
like,
no,
the
he's
next
not-
level, or
Oh, he'll be up there.
is peak? I don't know.
Here's the thing. Oh no, that's the best. No, it's not next book. It's this book too. This book,
okay.
we get,
Oh no.
we get angry Rimuru, and I don't mean. I mean, we get full on angry Rimuru. Like you thought he was
Rimuru's
angry.
fucking pissed.
You
Yeah.
thought he was angry in season 2. You have not seen unhinged angry Rimuru. Rimuru was actually in control when he went on his little vengeance spree.
Yep.
Next book, well, yes and no.
Is he okay? He went red with he saw red in season 2.
No.
Is he gonna see green?
No, he did not see red in season 2. When you saw the red eyes on Rimuru's body, that was Raphael in charge. That wasn't Rimuru. Rimuru was still very much calm and in control. You're gonna actually see Rimuru get mad.
I don't remember the scene you're talking about, but
Man.
When after the
Man.
Demon Lord evolution and he awakens and you see the humanoid body of Rimuru for the first time, that's actually Raphael in charge. Everybody saw the red eyes. And
Oh,
thought,
wait,
oh my
yeah,
god!
no,
Oh
no,
my
I
god! No,
remember.
that's actually Raphael.
oh wait, no, I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. Oh yeah.
This
I wasn't
actual
thinking
fury.
that.
Yeah, that was controlled. That was controlled anger. What you're about to see is unbridled rage.
I'm thinking like
I
when
like
he's
to say that my
seeing
rage knows
Milim
no
being
bounds.
controlled.
See, here's
That's
the thing.
like me
Here's the
thinking
thing.
he was angry.
Understand that so far in this war, everything has happened reasonably, and Rimuru has been nothing but kind and merciful throughout all of this. Even when members of Masayuki's party turned out to be traitors and try to kill him, absolutely cool. What is about to happen? He's like, yeah, fuck everyone in the Empire. I will rain fire down upon
Hellfire.
all y'all. It's like combatants, civilians. What are those? Drop the nuke. That's how mad he gets. You know.
Wow.
That's not what he
My
actually.
demon people go for a walk.
That's not
I
actually. That's not actually what he does, but that is the equivalent of where his rage is at. He no longer gives a shit about civilian casualties. He's like,
I need to go.
you
for
did
a
this
walk.
thing. You did this thing. I'm about to undo this thing because fuck you. So it's very much it is very big fuck you energy from Rimuru. All right.
I don't know why, but I'm thinking like
Understandable.
Palpatine's like, I got the thing you want. Yes, I made you angry. Wait a minute.
And then
Oh,
Rimuru
fuck.
walks up.
what's he
and then
doing over there?
Rimuru walks up to Sidious and starts choking him out. And he's like, "Now let me show you the full power of the dark side." And that's like, oh, it was at this moment that Palps knew he fucked up.
Palp, you do.
Yeah, it was at this moment that Sheev knew he fucked up.
Chief.
Yes.
Sheev. No, his name
He
is
got
Sheev.
cocky.
His name is Sheev Palpatine.
Sheep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
Sheev's
at this
been-
moment
yeah.
that Sheev knew he fucked up.
Mhm.
I just imagine,
like-
Reamer's choking the shit out of him. He's like, harder.
God, yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. But then
What?
I was also thinking the other one
Yeah.
when Robot Chicken, where you hear like that. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got in this situation, huh? Well, it all started with, and then you just play the volumes.
Mhm.
Funny. Oh, guys,
yeah.
Reggie Wolf has turned in a new reaction to our content. To Log Horizon Abridged. He has now put episode 9 of Log Horizon Abridged up. I am happy for that. Really,
Cool.
really glad that he reacted to that. So after we're done
Let-
here, please go check that out.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I should not have given him that switch.
Court.
He is going nuts out there. If you hear my nephew hollering in the other room, I'm sorry.
Oh,
he
yeah.
really
I've
loves
heard him.
Kirby.
I mean,
What, you
that's
can't hear him or
okay.
can't?
Oh, no, I can. I
Oh,
absolutely
you can hear him?
Really?
Yeah.
I apologize. He really wanted.
His
like, he
last
loves
reaction was
Kirby the
2
Brown.
weeks. His last reaction was 2 weeks ago, and now we're
Oh, you're talking. Okay.
now we're on just a new one that came out just a little while ago. Yeah,
Maybe I'll actually turn this
just a
down.
couple
Yeah,
hours
so it
ago.
doesn't-
Anyway, let's continue on.
Okay.
Yeah, turn that down a little bit.
Zegian seemed to be doing a pretty good job suppressing the power coursing into him, but there was no doubting that the Harvest Festival was underway. And as I anticipated, only Apito received any secondary blessings from it. Those two were the only ones I gave aid to by providing my own cell matter, so by definition, Apito is Zegian's only blood relative. Oh. There were loads of other dangerous species in the Labyrinth's insect floor, of course, but they had all been wiped out in this battle. We couldn't resurrect any of them, sadly. We just have to wait for them to be naturally replenished. This regrettably included Apito's closer family, but the souls of all these bugs had just been given to her. I wondered what she was planning to do with them, but it looked like she wanted to use them to strengthen herself. We'll see the results once her evolution is all said and done. Apito's expression wasn't pained in the slightest as she played her role in this event. She remained wholly calm and dignified, like the queen she was. Just like Zegian, I really had to hand it to her. I felt a little cowed even as I ordered them back into their positions. Some ellipses. Once the celebration ended, Zegian and Apito both returned to their respective labyrinth layers and wove themselves cocoons where they could complete their evolutions. Between the blessing from Zegian and the souls from her kin and the bugs serving under her, Apito took in an enormous amount of energy. They caused her own body to break apart inside the cocoon, reconstructing itself to become stronger and more battle-ready. She was literally reborn, and through the unique skill Motherly Queen that she acquired, she created a total of 9 insect-type Magic-born, each with multiple insectoid traits of their own. Motherly Queen was the ability to take in the internal biology of any insects she consumed and recreate them as Magic-born. Those were the first bricks, so to speak, of the new insect hierarchy that would grow over time. With Apito reigning as their one true queen, she was one of the dungeon marvels, but she was also a servant of Zegian's, and Zegian wasn't shy with the favors and blessings he gave her. That was more than enough explanation for why Apito went through such an astonishing evolution. And if Apito evolved this much only through a secondary blessing, it was a given that Zegian would change even further. Although his physical strength was already at the apex of its evolutionary abilities, the amount of magicals in his possession now eclipsed the Wankin claimants. What really stole the spotlight was a certain skill he obtained through his evolution. Apito's Motherly Queen was totally a game-breaking skill, something almost sinful in what it accomplished. It was astounding enough, but Zegian's was on another level. He had acquired the ultimate skill Mephisto, Lord of Illusion, and ultimate is exactly what it was, truly befitting of summoning apprentice to Veldora. With this power, Zegian was now the undisputed king of the labyrinth. Between that and the insect paradise Apito would soon work to build, the dungeon now had a king and queen, and the rule over the realm was absolute. With those two underway, only Adelman and his faithful assistant remain among the labyrinth dwellers. There's no doubting Adelman's intense faith in me, as well as the fact that he's a lot of a freako. Cut from the same cloth as Diablo. I mean, but he's cool, though.
Yeah.
Cut from the same cloth as
Hey.
Diablo, I suppose you could say. It's helped me tap into holy magic, though, so it's not all bad, but it turned out that Adelman was good friends with the old man Ghidorah all along. They had engaged in assorted research back together in the day. That's why he was able to craft the extra skill Holy Evil Inversion, which neatly eliminated the weak point he had. I didn't give it a lot of attention at first, but in a way, this was kind of a genius move. It was a little funny to call him smart despite not having, a brain to think with, but that's how monsters roll, I suppose. Of course, some monsters really don't need a brain. Their intellectual makeup resides in their astral or spiritual bodies instead. There are even some supernatural creatures who think with their hearts, so to speak. Instead of any brain organ,
The heart of the cards.
think of it as a kind of a,
The heart of the cards.
Heart of the card. I mean, we did just witness 2 cocoons of evolution, so
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Think of it as kind of like people who have gained the complete memory skills, such as Shion. All that does is recreate memories, of course, but it opens up the potential for thinking purely with one's soul and astral body. And once you achieve that, it pretty much releases you from a physical lifespan and punches your ticket to spiritual livelihood. Once that happens, pretty much no physical attack can deal fatal damage. And if your physical body is torn apart, you can regenerate it at will. Only certain special attacks or weapons graded legend or higher would be any kind of threat. Adelman hadn't quite reached that point. White kings like him are spiritual monsters, yes, but he's still bound by the yoke of his physical body. His thought processes were all contained within his spiritual body, so there's no such thing as dying of old age for him. But even so, he cannot continue existing with just his soul and astral body. He was this close to becoming a spiritual life form, but he wasn't quite immortal yet. That kind of thing. The same was true for his cohort, Alberto the Death Paladin, not to mention the Death Dragon they kept on their floor. They were all conscious enough to cover for those weaknesses of theirs while fighting as well. Adelman specializes in long-distance magic salvos. He supports Alberto on the front line, also providing magical support of his own. The Death Dragon is always airborne, dumping attacks from above, and if Alberto ever gets too damaged or fatigued, it would immediately take his place as the tank. This teamwork had become a proven winner for them. Sadly, their opponent this time was simply too much for them to handle. There's always someone better than you out there, I suppose. If you're enough of a fighting master to wield legend class gear, Hinata's Holy Spirit armor for one, then you can basically cancel out any attribute-based attack out there, even the undead element. Hakuro was capable of that, for example, and I'm sure he'd make masterful use of the legend class sword I gave him, greatly boosting his battle abilities. So, it's great to have someone like that on our side, but it was our foe who carried a legend class blade this time, and not just any old foe. It was the top elites among the Imperial Guardians, the great force the Empire boasted. Alberto's sword, whether it was a failed experiment from Kurobe or not, was still an excellent, unique class piece of work, but it couldn't hold a candle to a legend. Alberto was only able to hold his own with an inferior weapon because he was the more skillful fighter. His sword shattered on him in the end, sealing their defeat, but it'd simply be wrong to blame him for that loss. If anything, he deserved praise for putting up such a good fight. I'm sure you felt the result was disappointing, but all of you fought brilliantly nonetheless. That goes especially for you, Alberto. Your swordsmanship knows no peer. It awes me to hear that, my lord. You as well, Adelman. The next thing I knew, you fully mastered the magic I taught you. I think we could all learn a thing or two from your unflagging diligence. I may not look it, but I hate lifting a finger when I don't have to. Oh, okay. I only dive into subjects that I have personal interest in. But since he was a reliable, intelligent partner in Raphael, or since he has a reliable, intelligent partner in Raphael overseeing matters instead of me, I'm sure Adelman's hard work will prove incredibly valuable to us all.
Oh, no! I
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
possibly portray my wisdom as anywhere close to yours, Sir Imaru.
He's off game right now. Or, it's fine. He's off the court now. He's fine. He can do this.
You know, that actually reminds me, like,
What
have you
was the
guys
actual voice I used
seen
for him last
the
time?
new
that you
were
Skeletor
like,
voice that Mark Hamill's doing for him?
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't possibly betray. You gave him like
Kind of
a
like,
no.
like
did
a
you do the
ghastly-
Joker one?
Yeah.
I couldn't possibly
Yeah.
portray my wisdom as anywhere close to yours, Sir Imaru.
Like that.
Exactly, but that's his
Okay.
on-game voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, yeah. We all, I think we've all agreed on
Modesty?
that.
No modesty! He-Man?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. He's off the court.
Why'd you
it's
just say
fine.
that all of a sudden? Like, sorry, I don't know what came over me there.
I don't know what came
like
over
I
me.
was
Something
prepared.
about He-Man.
He-Man.
Really
Shut
makes
up.
me mad.
Anyway.
And he
It
prayed.
really makes me visceral.
Yes.
I thought you said acrylic makes you visceral. And I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, I hate
I mean,
you.
I
he
hate
hates
I don't know. I
Warhammer
wanted to go
paints.
into a Krillin joke there, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna.
Acrylic.
No,
It's
it's
too far of a-
acrylic.
That's too far of a stretch.
It's
He doesn't have
acrylic-based
the
paint.
But that's but it sucks.
Acrylic-based
Zejian
paint.
doesn't have the muscles to
Yeah.
stretch
What a-
with. So
what a
I'm
sucky
making
paint.
a Brook joke.
What a sucky
Yeah.
paint.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Anyway.
it gets everywhere. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, there's sand? What?
No, just saying. Just making
Oh,
a
I hate
Krillin
it when I
blows
get
up joke.
sand in my joints.
Yeah. Anyway, not my wisdom, Raphael's. Not that I'm gonna point that out. No need for modesty, Adelman. Now, I will grant you yet more power. I hope you will take the needed lessons from this defeat and grow even more for me.
Your kind generosity for a defeated servant like me only drives me to strive even harder. I will work myself to the bone for you, Sir Rimuru.
I've decided to combine both.
It works. It works.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think since he's
He-
in public, he might do the performance voice. I don't know.
Nah, I mean, he's fine. He's at home.
No, I
They
mean
know
he's
him.
got to do the performance voice,
Not
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
voice.
That's his natural.
He's on
voice, yeah.
stage. It's a
He
big
has
event,
to
you
do-
know.
Yeah, he has to be
Oh, that's-
intimidating.
Like if it was casual, yeah. If he
Yeah,
was
he
just
has
chilling,
to.
but every
When
once in a
when
while,
his
I
game
don't
is
know,
on,
I like
yeah.
it. I like it better if it's a combination of the two. Like he talks like this, but his laugh is absolutely Skeletor. Like
Thank you.
It's
my
like
lord.
differences
It would
between
be- it's an
Skeletor
honor to be
and
here.
Death.
yeah,
In
it's
fact, this is
like
very funny.
Castlevania Death.
Yeah.
Sorry,
All right, anyway.
my lord.
anyhow.
He was painfully or tearfully choking out the words. I wish he wouldn't phrase it that way. However, Adelman was also the other awardee here today who turned down my offer at Evolution when I mentioned it to him. I think that's him still.
No, that's Adelman,
Oh.
right? Yeah.
Oh, that's Adel. Yeah.
Okay, so Adelman.
Adelman was
My
also
lord.
the other award here today. Yeah.
Unlike everyone else here, I am a defeated man, something I cannot forgive myself for. Someone as incompetent as me, potentially reaching the same level of awakening as you. Perhaps when I am given another opportunity and achieve greater success than now, I will be able to accept this lofty honor.
That. I was trying to do the Sans
What
laugh. but I don't
sound like
think you
the
can
like?
do
He
that.
sounds like a Ace Attorney like prosecutor villain character.
Maybe. I mean,
Like
in
that
my mind.
dialogue just kind of reminded me of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. In my mind, it's like Death from Castlevania and Papyrus. It's
It's
like,
like
okay.
it's one or the other. It's never both at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Except for the laugh.
So let's keep
Yeah.
going, guys.
Yeah.
We can never
That's-
decide on that.
That's how he put it, but I managed to coax and pushed him into it anyway. I mean, honestly, I didn't expect much of anything from him in the first place. Back when Shinji's party stormed their way up to floor 60, I all expected the Alman trio to go down hard. But now they far surpassed my expectations. They were just a poor match for Krishna, their opponent this time around. But that was all there was to it. So partly as encouragement to keep him from working himself to the bone, and so on, I tapped some of my soul supply for Adelman. It wasn't what he had planned for at all, but the labyrinth was going to remain our final stronghold for a while to come. It's important to shore up its defenses, and Adelman's evolution was an important part of that. The labyrinth contained all our vital R&D facilities, and we could even quarantine the entire capital inside it during emergencies. I never even imagined what a boon it'd be when I invited Ramirez to stay with us. I saw her labyrinth as a personal sandbox, but now it was our most formidable fortress. That was all thanks to Ramirez, and Veldora as well. I made a mental note to express my gratitude to them later on as I addressed Adelman. I know how you feel, or you feel that your performance was below your standards, but you have my utmost esteem nonetheless. I hope you'll prove that I was right with your future efforts.
All right, hold on. Guys, this point I want to go ahead and make clear. It's okay to go back and reread some stuff, and it's also okay to take your time with this. It was a thing that came to my attention recently, so this is a big reason why I'm correcting everybody when they
Right.
make a mistake. We have blind people that listen to us.
Oh,
So
Interesting.
yeah,
Gotcha.
so we have blind fans, and they listen to our light novels stuff. So it's like, yeah, if I'm correcting you on something that you said, it's because, hey, that doesn't actually make sense, and I want to make sure that our blind viewers can follow along, because clearly they can't read
Yeah.
the book, you know.
understandable.
And I'm not sure if Slime has an audiobook, so
Actually, that's a good question. I don't know.
yeah, we'll find out later. But if not,
yeah.
then we are essentially the audiobook, and we want to kind of get it right. And it's okay to take
Okay.
your time just to make sure that we get it right.
Okay.
All right.
So Adelman's evolution began. He proved to be no exception, an
Oh,
irresistible
sorry.
drowsiness.
I missed my line. Yes, my lord.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I promise I will live up to your lofty expectations.
So, Adelman's evolution began. He proved to be no exception. An irresistible drowsiness soon descended upon him. I didn't want him suffering thanks to me, so let's keep this evolution ritual going. I'll take your word on that, indeed. From this day forward, you may call yourself the Gehenna Lord. May you keep striving to live up to that title.
Absolutely, my lord.
Apparently, it does not have an English audiobook, but it does have
but it
a
has
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Is it
I don't know if we
voiced
have
by
any-
any of the anime cast?
That'd be cool,
Yeah.
especially if it's voiced by Rimuru.
Yeah.
Anyway. Phew. It's hard to sound all dignified like that for extended periods of time. And I should add, it's hard to come up with titles like this. I was up all night pondering over them. I mean, I don't need to sleep, so I was more bored than anything. But anyway, I decided to give Adelman the title of Lord, which was quickly beginning to signify the top rank within my hierarchy. We might see more lords in the future, but for now, Adelman was one of only 12 to be awarded that rank. It made him one of the most powerful military figures in the world, and I'm sure it'd give Adelman more of a voice in Tempest affairs, assuming I ever gave him the chance to speak up. Now, Adelman was hardly the top performer here. Alberto was still kneeling by Adelman, who was now visibly fighting his desire to sleep. Behind him, the Death Dragon was hunched over, trying to make its huge frame as small as possible. They both received blessings from their boss's evolution, so casual conversation probably wasn't their first priority. So I decided to grant Alberto some new battle gear to replace his broken sword. He already had overwhelming sword skills, so with the right weapon in hand, that'd easily be doubled. And while I was at it, I thought, why not give him some of Kurobe's best work to date? But then I reconsidered. Among the spoils of war we seized from the enemy, there was a small cache of legend-class gear. Caligulio, their enemy's top general, even had some god-class items, extremely rare in the best of situations. It'd be a waste to just hang that stuff up in a museum somewhere. I tried palming it off on Kurobe, but he said he didn't need it, claiming that I can create my own god-class gear by now, sir. And he was right. Benimaru's own blade was about to be reforged by Kurobe's hand to god-class tier. That much I was assured of, so I decided not to foist this gear on him after all. So who's the right recipient here? As Caligulio made clear enough, merely being awakened didn't make you truly worthy of god-class gear. Once you reached that level, the equipment chose the owner, not the way around. I didn't need a fancy analysis to see that. Something gets called god class, I feel, when after so many years, the magisteel inside of it evolves into crimson steel and assumes a sort of spiritual existence as a tool, a concept known as, or called Tsukumogami in Japanese. This means the owner has to be worthy of the item in order to wield it, I imagine. But that just was... I'm sorry, what?
I was just saying the word Tsukumogami.
Tsugami, yeah. Yeah. And that's just not going to happen within a human being's lifespan. Here, meanwhile, we had a noble soul that had become undead, exposed to endless hardship, and still never lost his skills as an acolyte. Now, Alberto was a death paladin, and for him, the concept of a lifespan was meaningless. He had been applying himself, studying hard and acquiring sword skills that rivaled Hakuro's. Maybe he'd be the right person for this weapon? I thought so anyway. Besides, everyone else in my entourage already had their preferred weapons on hand. Some of them even refused to carry anything not made in Kurobe's forge. Such was the trust they had in him. Diablo and the three demonesses, meanwhile, could use the skill create material to manifest whatever gear they wanted. The results performed in proportion with the skill of the owner, and for the demons, they could easily surpass legend level protection. They had zero need to carry any pre-existing armor around. Some people like Shion like pouring magic power into their weapon all the time, out of sheer love. Maybe that's why the longsword Shion preferred had now evolved into Goriki Maru version 2, with legend-class murdering capability, without me even really noticing. Her sword did break, didn't it? I'm pretty sure I saw it get cut in half in the battle against Roselle. But now it was good as new. Just like Shion herself, the blade had risen from the ashes like a phoenix. It was more exasperating than surprising, if you ask me. That, and scary. And they say Shion puts a lot of love into her cooking too, but if so, what the hell does her love consist of exactly? Whatever it was, I don't know what that is here, but
It's titty powder.
whatever it was, yeah, that's where all the magic.
It's her milk.
Yeah, all her magic pills are stored in her boobs. That's why they're so big.
Yeah, it's got 2 terabytes of memory. Anyway,
2 titty
2
bites.
terabytes and all of it's meant for cooking, but
It's she has
That's a lot of recipes, dude.
She has 2 titty bites of magic heals.
Yes,
That
exactly.
explains it. It's
Yeah.
different from terabytes.
Yeah, it's titty
Mhm.
bites. Yeah.
They're way bigger.
Way bigger.
No, they look a
Yeah.
lot bigger, but they're not really.
No, they're
No,
bigger.
no, they're
They're
much
bigger. They're much bigger.
Yeah.
It's like the TARDIS. It's
Yep.
bigger on the inside.
Yeah. Whatever it
None of
was.
it helps her at all.
Well,
No, not
Yeah.
consciously anyway.
Well,
it's not
Yeah.
it's not intelligence that's stored there. It's just magic heals.
Yes.
There we go. There we go.
Right,
yeah. Whatever it was, it could resurrect a shattered sword. Did I really want to consume a metal chock full of that stuff? This was turning into a dangerous train of thought. Time to get back to business. Now that I knew owner compatibility was a big issue with Battle Gear, I decided that I didn't need to give my top brass anything new for the time being. That was a good enough reason in itself, but Raphael was the one who convinced me in the end, assuring me that Alberto was the best person to receive this God-class blade. I nodded, not questioning its judgment one bit, and decided to go ahead with it. So Alberto would be awarded with a complete set of God-class gear, a full suit of armor with a longsword and kite shield thrown in. Alberto, your swordsmanship is among the best in the world. In recognition of this, I grant you this battle gear. Please maintain your world-class skill as you continue to shine in the service of Adelman. Yes, my lord. At my cue, Shuna stepped up, pushing a wagon with all the gear piled on it. Alberto watched her hand it over to him, visibly shaking with anxiety. This is... He must have noticed the caliber of the stuff at first glance. The astonishment was clear in his quivering voice. I can't blame him. There are only a few known examples of this sort of stuff in existence, making them quite literally the gifts of the gods. Being able to handle gear like this is among the highest honors a knight could receive in this world. Do you think you could use this gear? I'm not about to take no for an answer. Sensing the pressure from my gaze, Alberto drummed up his fortitude. Of course, Sir Rimuru. I swear, I will live up to your dreams. His voice echoed throughout the Colosseum, and I was glad he was so over the moon about it. The moment he touched the God-class armor, it naturally wrapped itself all around his body. I had no problem accepting him as its new master, apparently. But I did make one miscalculation. Once it gained this true master, the armor's capabilities wildly exceeded anything that I was expecting. As long as Alberto wielded this gear, he essentially functioned as an incarnated spiritual life form. This was the true power of God-class equipment, its ability to temporarily upgrade a being with physical form into one with spiritual form instead. And a spiritual form, or a spiritual life form, is, in so many words, a godlike existence, like Veldora and, well, me, I guess. It doesn't really feel that way, but I'm definitely quite close to immortality. I know I won't age anyway, but it seemed pretty likely that I'd never die. Not unless I lost my magicals or experienced a core break in my heart. In other words, spiritual life forms experience no natural death. Or, in other words, spiritual life forms experience no natural death, were immune to all kinds of status ailments, and could overcome death itself through sheer power of will. That ability to raise people to the same level as such wondrous supernatural beings was enough to convince anyone that God-class gear was truly extraordinary. At the same time, I could understand why...
Foreshadowing? I hate to interrupt. I feel like I detected foreshadowing in there. I'm not sure why. It just felt like something was just foreshadowed there a little bit.
Nothing.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Just based on the hints, I'm
I mean, if
connecting
it's
dots. Maybe
if
they
it's-
go somewhere. Maybe they don't. I don't
If
know.
it's foreshadowing something, it's foreshadowing something beyond where I've read.
I mean, as long as it's not like, and I'm going to retire in a week, so amen. Then it's
Ah.
gonna
No, that's not foreshadowing. That's a death flag.
Exactly. It's
Red
like, yeah,
flag.
then we know exactly what's going to happen.
All right.
At the same time, I could understand why Raphael recommended Alberto. Benimaru will be evolving into a spiritual life form on his own, and Ranga and Shion are kind of following in his footsteps, so I'm sure it'll happen to them too. I didn't think Gabiru and Geld were quite there yet, and giving them God-class gear wouldn't change that. Alberto truly was the right man for this stuff, in the right place at the right time, and that was that.
All right.
And I can't forget about Adelman's... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yep. This is me
Yep.
taking over. You've already read for over an hour, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
sorry about that.
hour
I
and
wasn't keeping
15.
track of the time.
Well, no, we didn't start
Yeah.
directly at 8:00.
Oh, okay, that's
Mhm.
fair.
We were a little... Yeah, go for it.
And I can't forget about Adelman's pet dragon either. His death dragon put in a killer effort too, so I definitely wanted to award it somehow. I pondered over what to give, but it was long before I had the perfect answer. A name. No better way to make a monster overjoyed than naming it, right? This would come with some danger normally, but I had Raphael with me. I'm sure he'll keep me safe and regulate the magicule flow and all that. Proposal. In this case, there is already a bond between the subject Adelman and the Death Dragon. Rather than creating a soul corridor here, I recommend consuming souls for the purpose of naming it. That's an unexpected suggestion from Raphael. But if I opt for that, how many souls are we talking about? Understood. 5,000. Proceed? Yes? No? If it's around 5,000, that does sound like a much safer approach. Raphael had apparently analyzed my souls on hand and figured out a way to convert them into magicules via Beelzebub Lorded Gluttony. It was guaranteed not to be dangerous at all, I was told. So, how about we go with that? I stood in front of the Death Dragon, patting its head. It appeared to be pretty nervous about this. Scary looking, for sure, but still awfully cute. I have a reward for you too, okay? From this day forth, your name is Venti, Dragon Lord of the Underworld. The souls were consumed and the naming was complete. After that, several dramatic changes took place. The gigantic body of the Death Dragon, well over 20 yards long, began to shrink and shrink and shrink until what I saw before me was a beautiful woman wearing a dark robe. Who's this? I thought for a moment, but I didn't let it faze me. With monsters, anything goes, really. That's something I've experienced more than I care to admit, and what I've learned as a result is that panic will get me nowhere. I did my best to not show my agitation, maintaining an "of course this would happen" attitude as best I could. I think I did a good job. My most beloved of beautiful gods, I am awed at the blessings you have bestowed upon my lowly body. Oh, yeah? Oh, sure, yeah, of course you could talk just fine. Also, I just gave you a name, okay? Any blessings you received came from Adelman, not me. I think
Raphael, just every time he says he gives a name, it just triggers at Raphael.
I think we're seeing a mix. No, this one was something Raphael was like on board with.
Oh, for once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing a mix of effects here, but let's keep that straight, all right? Oh, how wonderful of you, Venti. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a different. Oh, how wonderful of you, Venti. Yes, master, our god has not forsaken me after all. Indeed, our faith has been duly rewarded. It has. What a beautiful master-servant relationship. I felt like I was being left in the dust, but hey, good for them. And so Adelman and his servants had all received their gifts. Consuming souls to name monsters is actually pretty darn convenient, isn't it? If you go around naming Dragon Lord class creatures, there's really no telling how many magicules they'll consume. Even with Raphael overseeing things, I don't have infinite magicules, you know? Beelzebub had helped me gradually stockpile more and more magicules, but I used nearly the whole supply naming Testarossa and the other demons. It could have tapped Veldora for some assistance, but I don't think he'd like doing that too much, and getting him to change his mood about something requires monumental effort. That's best kept as a last resort, I thought. I also didn't want myself inadvertently going into sleep mode after an impromptu naming binge. I was running on a much higher baseline of magicules now, and I had no idea how long I'd need to recover from being tapped out. We were still at war, and this was one dangerous gamble I absolutely had to step away from. With this approach, though, I was home free. Now, on this topic, I had given a lot of thought about how to reward Ramirez, but how about leveraging this new discovery a little? In other words, I figured she'd be tickled pink if I named the 4 Dragon Lords for her. They had no real connection to me, but this soul-based approach, it still worked just fine. I really gotta hand it to Raphael for pitching the idea to me. And besides, even after all this evolution, I estimated that I'd still have over 20,000 souls left over. It's thanks to Ramirez that I was able to retain so many in the first place. In fact, she didn't want any from me at all. Just take him. I ain't got no use for him. I felt kind of bad about that, so I thought this would be a nice, elegant way of paying it forward. Hope she's up for the idea. I'll remember to ask her about it later.
And then we have the picture of the dragon turned girl,
Venti.
Venti. Yep,
Yeah.
carrying
Definitely
a
looks
scythe
like a
now.
Kobayashi dragon maid lady.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Rimuru's dragon maid.
That ended the proceedings for the Labyrinth gang. Now this celebration was at its climax, and only 2 problem child remained. Who, you ask? Well, who else but the toughest nuts of all, Shion and Diablo. Based on what I had seen so far today, I was convinced nobody was going to go out of control on me. But we can't let our guards down. This is Shion and Diablo, after all. The worst of the worst. If both went on a rampage at the same time, I couldn't even imagine the extent of the damage. And with our top defenders all busy evolving right now, too. Anyway, let's begin with Shion. Yeah, this is a button that may or may not cause doom. It's big, it's bright, it's red. Let's push the button!
It's shiny,
shiny.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forgot the shiny part.
Shion, I hereby grant you the title of Warlord. Please continue to maintain as much calm decorum as you can please. Or as you can, please.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, you'll never find a woman as calm and mature as me. Who are you talking about again? Because
Shuna.
it sounds like you're talking about yourself there or something. Now that's what I call high self-esteem. I have been impressed with her self-control as of late, but Shion's still got a lot to learn on that front. Best to take a long-term view. I'll not comment on that, but make sure you can keep consulting with your comrades, protect our nation, and all who dwell in it, and prevent yourself from going out of control for me. With that, I granted Shion her souls. But, huh? There was an almost shocking lack of change. Shion looked at me, acting slightly put off. We had a staring contest for a while, but still no sign of transformation. Was that a dud or what? Boy, is this awkward. Now it's like I haven't given her anything, huh? I suddenly had a crisis on my hands. I haven't prepared anything else for her. As I was panicking over what to do, something truly unexpected happened. Nothing had changed with Shion, but the members of Team Reborn under her fell to the ground one by one, fast asleep. Then I noticed that a few members of her fan club who styled themselves as her elite guard were rapidly dozing off themselves. It varied from person to person, but it looked like all of them had received blessings from her. Shion seemed completely unaffected. What a strange phenomenon. No point thinking about it too much, though. They're under her direct control, so I guess that's the kind of thing that'll happen. Best to leave that to her. Right. Well, Shion, let me know if you sense any abnormalities in your own body. Absolutely. By the way, Sir Rimuru, do you have any special rewards prepared like the one you devised for Gobta? Shion fidgeted a bit as... Do you have any, like, special rewards prepared like the one you devised for Gobta? I like that one better.
I gave you a title.
Yeah.
I gave you a title and a shit ton of souls. Be happy with what you get.
And now all your underlings are now apparently evolving. I don't know why you're not, but still, that's pretty good for you.
Shion fidgeted a bit as she asked, I had to empathize with her. I'd conducted her ritual like all the others, but to the audience it must look like I gave her a fancy new title and nothing else. Some people would be glad enough for that, but with Shion, it's not like she needed new weapons or whatever, so something like what I gave Gobta, huh? Very well. In that case, I'm going to teach you how to make a very special dish. What? Are you admitting, then, that I'm the better cook than Shuna? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Let me put a stop to that right now.
How could she ever jump
You're getting there.
How could she ever jump to that conclusion? Shuna, listening on next to her, just rolled her eyes in contempt, although my immediate denial quickly restored her sunny disposition. Shion looked less than pleased with me, but when I whispered into her ear that I'd have an expansion installed in her kitchen, she gave me a happy nod and went back to her column. Team Reborn, meanwhile, was evolving in very interesting ways. They seemed to be turning into spiritual life forms, in a sense, but with physical bodies, unlike demons by default. Rather close to demons, but still primarily physical in nature, and most importantly, they could still breed and produce offspring. It looked like we had a totally new species on our hands. Death Oni, I guess you could say. Shion's Oni Foundation seemed to be emerging more strongly on them than before, with some of them acquiring her body-enhancing extra skill Divine Force. No one was sprouting any horns, though. Their Magicule counts weren't on the level of Team Hiryu, but given their immortality, it was hard to judge which group was stronger, really. You could have said they evolved from hobgoblins, and anyone would have believed you. The biological process of these monsters truly baffled me, and so, despite Shion herself having surprisingly little to show for it, her evolution ritual came to a close. Sorry about that. I kind of bit my tongue partway through that.
Ooh.
Yeah, not so
Fun.
pleasant. Okay. And now we were at the bottom of the list. Diablo, my biggest headache. He had been visibly fidgeting for a while now, looking at me with this expectant smile. Honestly, he'd probably cause more damage if I stopped the event now than if we went into the evolutionary frenzy. Or if he went into an evolutionary frenzy. If anyone got in his way here, they were as good as dead. Well, let's do it. Diablo? Yes, Sir Rimuru. I had nothing but bad feelings about this. There's little doubting that this evolution will make him the most powerful figure in this nation of monsters I'd constructed. I don't mean the strongest of my group, I mean stronger than me, no doubt. He claims he can't beat Zejian, but I'm sure he was giving himself a handicap somewhere. He overpowered Jiwoo and Bernie, both formidable foes, at the same time by himself. Zejian's strength was a surprise to me, but Diablo seemed like he was one step ahead. In other words, he was already my strongest underling. In fact, if Diablo really put his mind to it, he might even outgun me in this current state. If you compare him to me back just after I awakened, it wasn't even close. Just how was he going to evolve now? I needed to be extremely cautious. Diablo, I can think of no title more appropriate for you than Daemon Lord. Or actually, it would be Demon Lord. May you continue to serve as my right-hand man and unite all the demons under our banner. Especially those 3 demonesses. I remain, as ever, at your service, Sir Rimuru. Seriously, Diablo, please. I nodded and performed the ritual. And so, a new fiend was born. The evolution was over in an instant, it seemed. I suspected another Shion-type dud at first, but I was wrong. He was just exhibiting perfect control over all energy flows and not letting any changes show at all. Nice one, Diablo. What a masterpiece. Now, he had evolved into one of the strongest beings in the entire world. A bit of it was flowing into me through our newly created soul corridor, and man, what a fright! I now had a vague idea of the upper limits of his power, and given how Benimaru's and Shion's evolutions were apparently disappointments, Diablo truly had become my most powerful underling. In fact, well, his Magicule count was up there with mine, and considering the skills he'd built up, I feared this was no longer someone I could defeat in battle.
He's Anakin Skywalker, isn't he?
Guess that bad
feels
feeling.
like that.
Guess that bad feeling I had was pretty accurate. I expected something like this, though, so I wasn't wrought out over it. Impressive evolution there, Diablo. The compliment is most appreciated, Sir Rimuru. So, we're good? His personality was still the same. If he decided to overthrow me right now, it would be pretty funny. And don't tell anyone, but I would try fighting to keep my position. But despite the evolution completing itself, Diablo looked like he was trying to acquire some new ability. What are you doing? Ah, well, you see, during the previous battle, I realized the usefulness of ultimate skills, you could say. I was ignoring them before, since Guy was bragging up and down to me about them. But now, I think I may as well gain one if it's available to me. Oh. Huh. What kind of idiot is this? It's funny how stupid smart people like him can be sometimes. Feels like I'm surrounded by a lot of those types, actually. So yes.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
So yes, I thought I'd take this opportunity to learn one so I can brag about it the next time I see him. Uh-huh. He hates it when Guy brags to him. Or Guy. But it's okay for him to brag back. Huh. Well, but it's okay for him to brag back? I'd like that take on it better. Jesus, I looked up and I saw Shim just like very big and imposing in the camera for a second. I was like, yeah.
Sorry, I'm doing the Enzo pose on
you're
accident.
You're doing the Gendo Ikari pretty well.
Yeah, the Gendo. Yeah. I'm just missing the glasses shine.
Jesus Christ! Now both of you are doing it.
Yeah. Well.
What the fuck, Sonic?
Yeah.
Oh, now it messed up my like. Okay, I think it's coming back. The light is like not.
I don't know if I could get the light to.
Okay, there
you go. There you go.
That one instead.
All right.
There you go.
Anyway.
I just have to change the shade of the light.
Well, given his aptitude up to now, given his attitude up to now, I could easily imagine how much of an ego he copped with everyone besides me. I didn't need Raphael to spell that out, but this would be aimed at Guy, not me, so I had nothing to worry about. As long as it wouldn't come back to haunt me, there was no use fretting over the little things. So it looked like Diablo's demeanor remained as rock solid as always, and at this rate, I didn't think I needed to worry about a sudden... Pardon me. Wow, that came out of nowhere. About a sudden mutiny anytime soon. He had full control over his evolution, so there was no reason for me to treat him as anything but the faithful, capable staffer I saw him as before. All right. It is that time. Sonic. Your turn.
Yep. Ah, shoot. I had to look away for a moment. Where are we at exactly?
Incidentally, I found out later. Diablo's blessings.
Found out later. Ah, there we go.
Actually, let me read this next little set of stuff, and then we'll get to another star. Because I realized I started about 15 minutes. I started about 9:15, so I've got a couple.
Yeah, that's fair.
In it.
You start that time.
That's fair. Yeah. I'll just skip ahead and then listen.
We won't be going all the way till 10:30. I have to leave at around just a little after 10. So I'm just gonna.
I'll just finish up after this.
Yeah. So incidentally, as I found out later, Diablo's blessings were passed on to his second in command, Venom. Did we have a particular way that we said Venom, or is it just Venom?
No, it was just Moss. That was it.
Okay,
that was
all.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Along with the 100 demons under Venom's direct command. However, and this is just a hunch on my part, I think Diablo found a way to siphon as much energy away from those blessings as possible. I wasn't sure if such a thing was possible, but if Diablo could do it, I wouldn't be surprised in the least. Strength, after all, is earned, not given. I'm sure that's what Diablo's line of I'm sure that's Diablo's line of thought. Regardless, Venom was showing some real growth. He had undergone an evolution of his own, becoming a full demon peer. He still wasn't nearly on the level as Testarossa and friends, though, and even compared to Moss and Varian.
There you go.
I wouldn't call him all that intimidating. There was no way that someone who had reigned as the strongest for so many years could be defeated by an upstart out of nowhere. Even among demon peers, there was a clear ranking in place. Well, of course, Venom told me. I'm still a newcomer, you know. I haven't even been living for a century. I'd hardly even deserve to be compared to them. I suppose Venom is something of an uncommon case, a contemporary era demon with little experience to his name. Given the unique skill he was born with, however, maybe he was a reincarnate with some crazy story behind his history. He had no memory of his past life, he told me, but would sometimes recall words despite not knowing their meanings. Visiting my nation frequently gave him bouts of deja vu, apparently. If he was a reincarnate, that certainly would make him something special. But Venom still knew his place in the world. He had evolved to the same level as Testarossa and her friends, but he wasn't letting it get to his head, and he didn't look down on the others, on his other colleagues. He knew how much he had evolved, and he had picked up on the gap between himself and the next level. For a demon, experience is far more important than magical counts. That was real mature of him, I thought, but he also let me in on a little side scoop.
To tell the truth, I did actually challenge Lord Diablo once before, and let me tell you, he made disgustingly clear the difference between us. He was all smiles as he recalled it, but man, bad move there, dude. I'd expect nothing less from Diablo's closest associate, though. Guess there's a reason why he likes the guy. Despite the sheer stupidity of that challenge, it sounds like it turned out to be a good thing. Venom learned from the experience, and he never made the same mistake twice. If he ever did get carried away again, I'm sure Diablo would rub him out anyway. He had no mercy for people too big for their britches, no matter how close they were to him. Learning from your mistakes is a valuable skill to have. I look forward to seeing how Venom develops. As for the rest of the blessing receivers, well, to tell the truth, they were still having their bodies formed in our incubation capsules. All 100 of them were now reborn as Diable Chevaliers. They couldn't quite match up to the archdemons, but they were now demonic knights up there with any other high-level magic-born and capable of killing a great demon in one hit. They were way off the charts, really, but Diablo didn't really care about them at all, so they remained Venom servants. Diablo preferred to keep himself free and mobile, retaining his position directly under me, and that convinced me most of all that he hadn't changed. No matter how much he evolved and surpassed me, Diablo was still Diablo. Oh.
I was getting water. Don't freak out.
Okay. I looked up and I saw Sonic's gone. No!
Don't worry. No. I just get water.
Water.
All right, it's your turn.
All right. Take me home.
And
So on my
technically-
top staff...
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, and technically I gave you more time than I got.
Yeah.
So there you go. Enjoy.
All right. There's a... Hang on.
Hang on. Yeah. Let's see.
There's like a bug on my...
Dude, if you can
screen,
do
and it was
this,
very
I
annoying.
don't know if you can do this, but if you can do this, we might be able to finish chapter 1 tonight.
Oh, bet. All right, bet. Let's do it.
We're at the
Let's
bottom
go
of
for it.
page
Do
81,
it.
and it ends at the top of page 96. And you do
Do it up.
have an image on page 95 in the physical volume.
Ah, I get a little cheat there.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So all of my top staff had completed their evolution rituals. I'm glad it went well without any major hiccups.
Went over.
But the... Went over? Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Already starting
technically speaking, the chapter actually finishes in like on 84, and then we have the interlude.
Okay.
Do you want me to just finish up the chapter and give you the interlude?
Sure, why not? That
Okay.
actually... Yeah, I think I like that. That sounds fine. That's
Okay.
a more of a proper ending
Okay.
to this.
Okay, cool.
Mm.
All right, because it's like only 2 pages.
Yeah, plus someone's knocking at my door.
Yeah, I heard that. All right.
Okay.
So all of my top staff had completed their evolution rituals. I'm glad it went over without any major hiccups. But the victory celebration wasn't done yet. I continued to call out to people who distinguished themselves in battle, thanking them for their hard work. Then we moved right on from there to a celebratory feast, although one attended only by those still awake. We'd have to wait until next time to assemble the entire gang, but until then,
Probably good timing.
we enjoyed today's party well enough. I was disappointed, however, to find that Jane and the Twin Wings weren't joining us. They were quite apologetic, but they had urgent matters to attend to, so they took off in a hurry after the Coliseum event ended. Hopefully, they'll be able to chill more with us next time they visit. Right now, however, I'm more concerned about a couple of people getting belligerent under the influence. Sir Benimaru was out of my league anyway. I knew that all along. No, Lady Gobwa. You're quite attractive. Trust me on that. But look at me. Lady Alvis, the girl of my dreams. But look at me. Lady Alvis, the girl of my dreams, takes my hand and then she freaking kills me. That's beastmen for you, you know. They like 'em strong. They want a mate who's at least as powerful as they are. And if you're strong enough, you can have as many women as you want. But me? Oh, no! Goodness, Sir Phobio. You're more than strong enough. If I were stronger, I could have stepped in between those two ladies, but... Hey, you could drop the sir stuff with me. You're plenty strong yourself, Lady Gobwa. You just had some real stiff competition is all. Not even I could beat them, you know? It is what it is. Sir Phobio, please call me Gobwa then. Sure thing, Gobwa. Phobio. Yeah, we know where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't. Spell it out for me.
Well, there's birds, bees, flowers, and trees.
Yeah.
There's that.
And so, as part of that,
Goblin hams.
you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
On the bleachers, you know.
You know, go behind the
Okay.
bleachers, you know, that kind of stuff. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, you cannot do this in public. Can you not do this in public, please? I'm mature enough to not cause a scene over this, but this isn't some private candlelit restaurant, all right? Then again, though, two jilted lovers starting to kindle something with each other isn't such a bad thing, is it? Love works in mysterious ways and so forth. I'll let it slide. And the night passed along happily, the party in full swing. So our nation had a set of new lords governing it. Regulations forbade them from calling themselves demon lords, but we now had 9 among us who were practically equivalent to awakened demon lords. Add our 3 primal demons to this, and barring some really exceptional events, I think we were capable of dealing with anything that came our way. Since these 12 people now had lord epithets, I decided to refer to them collectively as the 12 lordly guardians. Some of them were also part of groups like the Big Four and the 10 Dungeon Marvels, but the lord term in their titles took precedence. That's because, unlike those 2 other groups, I had no plans to replace these 12 anytime soon. Being a lord in my realm is sort of a lifelong appointment. Since all of them had eternal life in the first place, in the future, I think it'd be ideal if they eventually stepped away from day-to-day duties and only took up their lordly roles during wars or emergencies. We had a lot of other great staff on hand, like Rigard and Rieger and Gobta and Mollymile, but they were all mortal. We needed to strike a clear difference between how we handled permanent posts and jobs that would go through generational changes. It didn't need to be addressed right this minute, but the time would come soon enough. The one person on my mind is Gobta. He's a top leader, despite it all. He's surprisingly resourceful, and he's more than reasonably strong in a fight. The transformation team up with Ranga was a real game changer for him. There was no doubting Ranga's evolution would power him up a lot, but I was sure Gobta could still keep up with him too. He really is unique. Despite being named and evolved, his outward appearance didn't change at all. He blathered on about how he evolved in terms of talent and stuff, but now I'm thinking that might have been the truth. And now, with today's reward, Gobta's position in Tempest has been set in stone. He had been granted a position closer to me than many other top office holders, and that wasn't lost on everyone looking Gobta's way. In a surprising way, maybe that was the biggest reward I gave out today. It struck me as pretty funny as I watched all my friends enjoy the party. And one more thing. Word of what happened today must have spread fast around the world because somewhere along the line I had been given the nickname Rimuru the Chaos Creator. This was fine. I decided to go with it. I was fully aware of all the crap I'd been pulling after all. And that's the end of the chapter. We now have an interlude. It starts on page 85 and it ends on page 96 with one notable picture in the way. So technically, all you have is 10 pages to read.
I put down my food. That was actually a good thing you took over that way because I literally was getting.
Yeah, I saw that. I glanced up and I was like, "Oh, he's eating. Good timing."
Yeah, that
really
was actually probably a better
And it's
idea.
also funny because we were talking about people eating in the book around that time. I was like,
yeah, I'm like, I literally like,
Yeah.
I mean, like
He
for
was
the
trying
whole
to
like,
be
we
immersed
can't
in it,
eat right
you know what
now.
I
I mean,
do you want to finish your meal or do you want to read?
oh no, I can reheat it.
Okay,
It's fine.
go ahead.
There's more anyway,
Yeah,
so. Just hope I don't burp too much.
Let's go ahead and finish this up and move on to chapter 2 next week then.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let me full screen this bitch. The celebration that Jane attended was truly astounding event to witness. Was a truly astounding event to witness. Yeah. One after the other, the demon lord Rimuru was evolving all of his closest staff into de facto true demon lords. This is impossible! I must be dreaming, aren't I? She was too shocked to even speak. She was well aware of how much trouble the demon lord Rimuru could be. But this scene? But this scene was ridiculous!
Was so ridiculous.
So beyond reality.
Was so ridiculous.
But this scene, it was so ridiculous, so beyond reality, that it surpassed the worst of her premonitions.
There you go.
Jane's objective in coming here was to ask Rimuru how he intended to handle the primals. She trusted Rimuru personally, but it took more than personal trust to quell her fears about something as menacing as the primals. Once they were unleashed, after all, they could easily destroy the entire balance of power worldwide. That much, in fact, was just proven by this war. 940,000 of the Empire's best were helplessly annihilated. It wasn't quite a stroke of good fortune that Rimuru was allies with them. Oh, it was quite a stroke of good fortune that Rimuru was allies with them. But there was no guarantee that they'd be able to maintain that relationship forever. Maybe I should take a cough drop real quick. My allergies, lovely. So like a tickle. You know,
That's
I don't know
okay.
why. Better than a sneeze, I guess, but
Yeah.
So Jane came here as an ambassador to scout things out and see how Rimuru was doing. When she greeted him, she found him acting perfectly natural, unchanged from when they last met. So she lodged her complaints with him in somewhat harsh terms, hoping to gauge his thoughts based on his reaction. The results, sadly, were disappointing. He just said, "I'm sorry," acting all remorseful as Jane admonished him. Thank you. And once the whole story was revealed to her, through Rimuru's excuses and explanations, she realized that Diablo had engineered this demon deluge all by himself. So you're certain that Diablo is Noir, the original Black? Looks that way. I didn't know either at first, but for whatever reason, he's been really friendly with me. He trailed off, shrugging. It didn't seem to be a lie. Apparently, he truly did become the overlord of a small army of demons without really realizing it. Jane had enough life experience. Jane had enough life experience to know he wasn't pulling an act. And she knew that further gripping wouldn't make Rimuru Rimuru any more capable of doing anything about it.
Yeah, she wasn't.
It wasn't
Rimuru.
Like, gripping his throat, like you.
Yeah.
Doing
gripping,
the Homer.
By the way, gripping would be 2 P's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let me look at that. Oh yeah. Pronunciation or I forgot the word. Whatever.
Gripping and griping look so similar. I get it.
I feel like griping would be the 2 P's, but I don't know. Where was I? It wasn't even his fault, really. She worried that all this new power would make him more arrogant, but much to her relief, that turned out to be a non-issue. But maybe she shouldn't have been so relieved. Maybe she should have warned him more harshly when she had the chance. Maybe she should have warned him more harshly when she had the chance. Even if the primals were a force majeure. Right?
Force majeure.
Right?
Yeah, force majeure.
Force majeure, as he put it. Mass-producing true demon lords like that? The work of true malice and nothing else. Nothing less.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized that. No, No. She was sure Rimuru meant no malice at all. She understood that. This was probably Rimuru hoping he could handle whatever it came by himself, instead of causing further trouble for Jane and her kingdom. Normally, she would consider this a hostile act of intimidation, but she was also sure he didn't mean to have it seem that way, or seen that way. In fact, the whole primal thing, maybe he decided there'd be no more keeping secrets from the dwarves. This was just an act of open disclosure based on sincerity and trust, and if so, Jane was undeniably partly to blame, too. Oh, Jane was undeniably partly to blame, too. Maybe if she had instilled some common sense in Rimuru before now, it wouldn't have come to this. Maybe that could have been possible. Maybe not. But either way, it was too late now. The whole balance of war power in the world. Jane felt about ready to have a stroke, but she fought through it. Jane felt about God. Jane felt about ready to have a stroke, like I'm about to have one right now.
Jesus.
Jane
But
loved
you
Tarzan.
fought through it, muzzing over what might come next. Oh, jeez, what I have to read next.
I mean, there's a big dot after this page if you want Shim to take over.
No, I'm fine. I'm committing to this.
You've got 9 minutes to make it through
I'm working on it.
9 pages.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. The event continued without a hitch. Rimuru's agents gained new powers one by one, and with them, the armies of monsters who served under them as well. In a few short hours, Tempest had just In just a few short hours, Tempest had just massively expanded its capability of waging war. There was no doubt of that fact. For waging war.
Yeah.
There was no doubting that fact. Nestled within the Forest of Jura now was a gigantic military state, a threat that the Eastern Empire couldn't even compare against. Realizing this, Jane once again rued the fact that she didn't take action earlier. But no, it wouldn't have mattered. The last time we deliberated over this issue, our conclusion was nothing we can do, no point thinking about it. King Gazo put any further debate on hold, but I don't think we'd find some magical solution anytime in the near future.
I don't think we'll find, not weed.
I don't think we'll find some magical solution anytime in the near future, and if not, their war with the Empire was far from over. The enemy's armies were still deployed, but Rimuru said he could collude. He was colluding with them. And soon, they conspired to storm the Imperial capital. Jane traveled here in the first place because they were supposed to discuss all of this at a meeting. But now, I've never been so confused in my life. This is no longer just about the Empire. I've got to tell King Gazo about the new true demon lords Rimuru has created. For a moment, Jane considered pretending that she didn't notice anything. It was a little more than trying to escape reality. It was little more than just trying to escape reality. But it didn't seem like such a bad idea either. But she had just confronted Gazo a bit ago over keeping quiet about the primals. She had no right to remain silent about this. Dolph, I'm leaving now. Oh? Why is that? We have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow, I believe. You could save face by attending for me. I'll return via magic. No need for a bodyguard or escort. Very well. Dolph, unable to pick up on flows of magic, had no idea what was occurring before him. Jane, jealous of him for that, sighed and fell into a funk as she continued. A funk as she considered the future.
All right, I am going to have actually Shem take over for this because we have 6 minutes to get through the rest of it.
How many pages have we got now?
Oh boy, we're at 88. So 88 to 96 is where we get.
Yeah, I'm not a speed reader.
That's okay. I should
Oh,
probably
okay.
I
Yeah,
should
that's fine.
probably start having you read at the beginning, and then have Shim take over at the end.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
That way
it's
we're
fine.
not
You gotta
pressed.
keep
That
digesting.
way I can also
and
do
doing it.
dinner too. 'cause,
Yeah, and that
this
way
does
you're
happen a
also
little later
well.
on.
I mean, you're also not pressed for time. If we were just trying
Yeah,
to if we
so-
were trying to do the normal thing of 10:30, this wouldn't be a problem.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, because you have stuff to do right now
no,
as well.
as you can
Yeah.
see, I have nothing on my bed because I washed it over at my brother's house and it was in the dryer, and I've got a couple more things. So I can't sleep tonight until I go over to his place and pick stuff up, and they go to bed kind of early.
Yeah, so that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Despite their unshaken facial expressions, the twin wings, Lucia the blonde, Claire the silver-haired, were both intensely distressed. Here, in Tempest, the monster nation, lived a great number of powerful magic-born. They knew that, and they even grew acquainted with a few of them, Geld in particular. They saw them as a threat at first, but now they were united in an alliance. They no longer needed to be so cautious now, no matter how many of their high-level magic-born matched them in skill. Until now, that is. They were here on orders to ascertain Tempest's current strength, now that they were engaged in full frontal war with the Nazca Namrium Almeria United Eastern Empire, the mightiest of human-led nations. Rimuru's army was bound to suffer some casualties. If so, it doubtlessly interfered with the construction of the Sky City that Frey was so looking forward to. So they were asked to survey the damage and formulate predictions for Tempest's future, organizing reinforcements if need be. That need, it seemed, was wholly non-existent. 0 damage, then? It's hard to believe, but judging by how cheerful everyone is, it must be the truth. It was the most unexpected of reports. Gladdened to hear that, they decided to attend the victory celebration they were informed of. They didn't expect, however, to bear witness to events that would make their eyes pop out of their skulls. This is unthinkable. We take our eyes off him for a moment, and now part of his head staff is as powerful as Lady Frey? No, look over here. Or look over there. The Demon Lord Reamer was about to say something. Claire snapped Lucia out of her panicked state just in time for the start of a ritual that was as unimaginable as it was appalling. Beyond appalling, even. It was so detached from reality that their minds went completely blank. Clearly, this was no longer a situation only the two of them could debate over. We must report back to Lady Frey immediately. Yes, you're right. Let us return home at once. With a brief telepathic conversation, they quickly came to a decision. Then they flew back home, immediately telling Frey what had happened. In a corner of the unfinished keep at the top level of their temporary castle, Frey let out a long, deep sigh. Oh, what could that slime possibly be thinking? What's the matter with you? Replied a man in the room. You look beautiful when you're all melancholy like that, but I don't think sighing suits you very much. Oh, that's Carry On.
Yeah.
This was Carry On, and now that both he and Frey were serving as Millam's assistants, they had come to grow deeply acquainted. That's the last thing I need to hear right now. But really, what happened? Is he struggling against the Imperials? Carry On looked concerned. Frey just seemed depressed. Would that it were the case, then I just obediently send off reinforcements, not a care in the world. So, what is it? Don't tell me that bum Rimuru pulled off another bout of crazy nonsense. Precisely, Frey declared after a few silent moments. Carry On remained quiet. May I make a suggestion, Carry On? Yeah? It's probably inadvisable to call Millam's best friend a bum. Kinda late for that, isn't it? You're the one who just called him that slime. Are you even listening to me? No need to be so nasty. Don't worry, I don't talk that way to my own staff. That's fine, but let's not go off on this tangent forever, shall we? Tell me what's going on. Frey let out another dejected sigh, her fragrant breath tickling Carry On's nostrils. It made him feel a little better, but he kept his eyes on Frey, not letting himself be distracted. All right. You won't regret asking, will you? Depends on what it is. Look, I won't regret it, okay? So quit shouldering it all by yourself. Give me some of it to handle. Right. Good. I like that part of you. Frey smiled, feeling her blues clear up a bit. Then she told Carry On part of the story she heard from her twin wings. Seriously? I'm always serious. Those two girls would never lie to me. So, what? Rimuru now has 7 more Demon Lord class people serving him? That's right. And they're all stronger than me? I couldn't tell you, but those 3 ladies felt stronger than me, at least. Even before their evolution, their powers put them on equal footing with Frey, according to what she knew, but after Rimuru did something to them, the twin wings felt an overwhelming strength boost from them all. Some of them were still in the midst of evolving, according to the report, but their full powers were expected to take hold before long. Frey had to accept that report at face value, but that didn't mean she was fully convinced. Carrion, after hearing it all, was stunned into silence. You're kidding me, right? He eventually asked. Do I look like the sort of person to lie about this? No. Well, there you go then. Neither Carrion nor Frey had ever exercised the full extent of their strength in front of their own people, but the Twin Wings had served Frey closely for years, and they had at least an idea of their master's true strength. Even if it were mere estimates they were reporting to Frey, this was intelligence ignored at her own or at her peril. What's more, nobody serving Frey would dare to offend their master with jokes or lies. Carrion knew that, and he thus had no choice but to accept this story. What the hell are Phobio and Alvis doing? But despite that internal complaint, Carrion knew Phobio was never any good at gauging his opponent's strengths. All kinds of extraordinary things could happen around him, and he'd be totally oblivious. But surely Alvis could have noticed? Why haven't I heard anything from her? As Carrion stewed over this, Frey spoke up again as if suddenly recalling something. Oh, right. Your understudy Alvis also got engaged to Sir Benimaru, the generals overseeing Sir Rimuru's armies. If this marriage goes well, maybe it'll be to our nation's benefit. Sir Rimuru approves, it sounds like, so that's good. That bastard actually did it? Alvis had consulted Carrion about it. He advised her to seize Benimaru by force, and at the end of it, Alvis scored a resounding victory. He couldn't help but grin to himself over it. It sounds like she'll be his second wife, though. Not the first, huh? Well, as long as she has a kid, it's all good. Oh, that's okay. It sounds like she'll be his second wife, though. Not the first, huh? Well, as long as she has a kid, that's all good. That's rather vulgar of you. Heh. Don't worry, Frey. Or, don't worry, Frey. To me, you're the only woman I've ever loved. Quit playing games with me.
Oh,
In
no,
our society,
they're a
women-
couple. Yeah, 100%
Yeah.
they're a couple.
Oh, it's
cute.
confirmed? Okay.
Yeah.
Quit playing games
Oh, I
with
gotta
me.
room you two.
In our society, women take multiple husbands. It's the exact opposite of you guys. How do you think it'd ever work out? The Harpy race is almost exclusively female, with procreation reliant on one of the few males or a powerful magic born for genetic diversity. A queen-type Harpy like Frey is capable of expanding her armies through parthenogenesis, or virgin birth, no partner required. With beastmen, on the other hand, it was common for stronger men to maintain relationships with multiple women at once. This weeds out the weak and leads to a stronger race over the years. Both species had the same ultimate goal in mind, but no matter how you looked at it, they were inherently incompatible with each other. Carrion and Frey, however, fully recognized each other's strength. Thus, although their relationship was very much a tightrope walk, they still managed not to overstep or to step over that one final line in the sand. Since I doubt I'll receive a good reply from you right now, I'll just keep on trying to chip away at you, okay? So, the question is, what the hell did that Rimuru bastard do? He could celebrate Alvis later. For now, Carrion was all business, and Frey was fine with that. They were on friendly terms with Rimuru's nation, and they wanted to keep it that way, but they needed a good grasp of what had happened. Then, if possible, they wanted to take things between themselves to the next level, too. It reminds me of Clayman's final moments. He was throwing out some crazy powers right then. Yeah, the awakening thing Rimuru talked about. What do you think caused it? He didn't look like he was hiding any power. Clayman must have gained... he didn't look like he was hiding any power. Clayman must have gained it right at that moment. And how did that work? Oh, via souls. Huh? Clayman said that gathering souls was how he'd awaken to his true demon lord self. If that's really true, there's no way he wasn't actively collecting them. Ah, so that's how he tried awakening himself? Probably. Honestly, I've never killed a human being, so I've never even seen a soul before. Me neither. I've only fought against my own kind, magic-born or angels, and we never wanted for much of my nation, so I never took an interest in humans. Right, but I think that answers the question. It looks like Sir Rimuru found a way to acquire a huge number of souls during the war. Now he's passed them out to the magic-born under him to trigger awakenings. That's ridiculous. It's bad enough that would-be demon lords like us are serving someone else, but now all those other guys are getting ahead of us? Damn. So how any souls did Rimuru use for this? Carrion scratched his head, and Frey turned her eyes towards the city being built beneath them. Hey, come to think of it, I didn't tell you how the war turned out, did I? Well, amazingly enough, Tempest's army suffered 0 casualties. The Empire, on the other hand, had an army of 940,000 soldiers completely wiped out. Huh? You think I'm lying? No. I only wish this report was a mistake. So the Demon Lord Rimuru had obtained a total of 940,000 souls, and with that kind of number, it'd likely be child's play to elevate 7 of your faithful servants to awakened status. And maybe it was more than 7 even. According to the reports, head General Benimaru exhibited no change during the ceremony. All he had done was agree to marry Momiji and Albus, but there was no way Rimuru wouldn't reward his closest associate with some souls. It was more likely that his evolution was delayed for some reason, coming along at a later date instead. Wow. So one side totally busting up the other, huh? That's hardly even a war any longer. I would have put up the whole white flag by now. But what do you think the Empire is going to do? Who cares about the Empire? They don't matter anymore. The problem is what we're going to do. Yeah, well, I've already surrendered myself to Milam. I already thought seeking out power for myself would be seen as treason, so I avoided it. But I guess I never had anything to worry about. How so? Rimuru's raised his staff to his own level now, right? Talk about generous. And looking back, I realized that Milam's probably the same as him. True, us getting awakened probably wouldn't cause her to lose much sleep, right? So why don't we just do what we want a little, huh? I think we've maybe been relaxing a little too much lately, but it's hardly too late. We've still got a chance to aim higher. We do. I always did like that about you. Freya and Carrion looked at each other, but just when things started to warm up between them, ah! Ha ha ha! Well said, you two. I can't go awakening people willy-nilly like Rimuru, but I can give you guys my special brand of training. And you don't have to worry about death if you're inside the labyrinth, so we can go all out too. Milam barged in, timing impeccable as always. Damn it! You were here, Milam? You just had to show up when it was getting good, too. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. Stop sneaking up on us whenever you show up. And I have no interest in training with... Listen to me, Milam! Frarian and Frey were already whining at her, but Milam paid them no mind. Her ears were equipped with top-of-the-line feature that shut out anything she didn't want to hear. Right. I mean, that's on brand. That's completely on brand.
Can't hear you. I'm in the training mood.
She has her own personal earbuds or AirPods.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, Milam would be all for them evolving into awakened demon lord status.
It's just like, listen to me, Milam. Can't hear you. Training time.
Yeah, kind of.
Basically,
yeah.
And she picks them up by their asses.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Wedge gives them both wedges. We're going to the labyrinth right now.
Right.
Oh.
I'll go ask Ramirez to help us out. Wait. I never asked you for training help either. Hold it, Milam. If you won't listen to us, then I've got an idea of my own. How about we have Sir Midray handle all the cooking from now on? Are you okay with that? This statement from Frey triggered Milam's sense of danger. It was more than enough to stop her cold, nice one, Frey, Carrion thought as he observed them. All right, but if you want to train, ask me anytime. Sure. By the way, have you finished up your homework? Well, I heard this really neat story I had to check out, so you haven't, have you? Frey smiled at her. My break's over now, so I'm just getting right back. There she goes. That's the
Like a
spirit.
book.
Good girl. So Milam returned to her homework. Frey and Carrion successfully surviving the crisis, but both of them still had a drive to evolve burning within their hearts. Would that ambition ever be fulfilled? That remained to be seen.
Find out
Next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time on Fat Dog Reads.
Yeah.
I like that. Fat Dog Reads.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, chapter 2. We'll be starting chapter 2 next time, and we're only about 8 minutes over, so I feel that's a good
Not
place to go. Guys, thank you so much for coming and checking out all the stuff that we've got going on. Quick update, in case you missed the art stream yesterday. I have already decided to go ahead and start moving forward. After this week, I'm no longer waiting on Slime 9 to get moving on other projects, so I will begin casting for the final person for Spider Abridged, for the Spider Abridged one-shot, and I'm going to go ahead and fully finish scripting out Konosuba along with Moon and Sonic, and then we will get to casting for that. So we'll probably start casting for Konosuba in either December or January. But yeah, we'll be casting for that relatively soon. We'll be holding the auditions for that. And we'll see how things go with those. We got a lot of characters that we'll probably have to get auditions for. So these will not be public. These will not be public auditions, guys. I'm sorry to say. I know that Tony likes doing these public auditions and finding new talent, but we have such a huge pool of talent right now that I kind of
Might as well
want
give
to,
it a chance.
and there's a lot of people that I want to work with that I haven't had a chance to work with that I definitely want to have a shot at putting them in this and seeing where they'll go with this. The only thing we know for sure is that, what's his name? Starts with Kazuma. Kazuma's already been cast. We already know who Kazuma
Good.
is. We just
How do you
haven't
not
cast-
know the main character's name?
Because I'm not thinking Konosuba. I'm still on slime time.
So
Yeah.
it's like Rimuru.
Yeah, I had to think of I am Gabiru Kazuma, and then as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, his name's Kazuma.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, yeah, that's where we're at on those things, and I've already begun writing the script for Slime 10, but I'm gonna probably go back and start rewriting it. I don't know how much of the beginning stuff I want to work on, or if I just want to be like, we're cutting all that stuff of like Eurazania and the Dwarven Kingdom. I might just cut all that out and just pick up right at Hinata, which is exactly where things technically fall in the actual timeline of events, because Eurazania and the Dwarven Kingdom, all that stuff happens before he goes and sees the kids.
Okay.
Oh yeah, in the actual timeline, that's how it works. So I just may cut all that shit out, and then just
So just
That might.
You can always go back
Are we
to
just
it
gonna
if
go
you wanted
right
to,
into the
but I don't
action
think so.
then?
or I may just be
Yeah.
like, hey, this is a couple of things that happened before I went and visit the kids, and then show that, and then immediately jump into Hinata. Like,
Or maybe just do like a Family
That's
Guy
more the big
cutaway
thing.
gag with them at some point.
yeah, it's something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out, guys. I'm definitely not gonna be doing the majority of that stuff. It's the Gabiru Kazuma effect. True. But yeah, I'm definitely not sticking with that. Those are my updates. That's the stuff I needed to plug. What are you guys working on?
Still trying to work on VTuber stuff, but that'll be later.
Gotcha.
Yeah, mostly just trying to make a PNG tuber. I don't have money for a full model, so
We'll
Yeah,
get you a
'cause they were
Soe-
pretty
we'll get you a
expensive, I heard.
Soe PNG.
that could be cool. I
Yeah.
could draw one myself too, but I would have to like figure it out.
I know. Actually, I know
Well, that
a
could be
person
fun.
who probably could help you with the PNG tuber.
That could be kind of cool. I talked to a couple people, but it's always nice having extra knowledge about that.
And guys, if you
So,
want more content of that variety, support our Patreon, because if we can dip into those funds, we can make more
We
stuff
can
like
all
this
get
happen.
VTuber models eventuber.
I am not
Maybe?
trying to
Yeah.
get a VTuber model at the moment.
That-
I
that's
technically have
expensive
Not in the
as
at the
fuck.
I
moment, yeah,
technically-
but
That is
eventually,
expensive
maybe.
as hell.
I
Oh my
technically have a bunch of different expressions for menu that I could just do as a
That could be
PNG.
interesting.
Oh, for
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
funny
do know
because like
that Scott Falco has like an animated like tune.
yeah, he
tutorial
has like his
thing.
own thing.
You could
so,
do
All
that.
right, guys.
Yeah,
That
not too bad.
is
Anyway,
it for now, unless Sonic has anything he wants to plug.
I'm on top of working on the narration for the Sonic the Hedgehog comic. I'm also not narrator, but part of a Three Musketeers audiobook.
Ooh, nice.
Yep, I think a few of the things have been done.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's on a YouTube channel. I could probably let me look and see if I might like later on because it's like podserve.fm.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if like it's like that website. So if it's like an audiobook thing, if you want to listen to that, I'm in it in a couple minor roles. I think I'm more in the later stuff. But I could probably link like the first episode if you guys want.
Nice. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well,
Let
that's
me
everything that is currently going on. We will see you all on the next one. I don't know if we're gonna do Anime Church on Sunday. I'm pushing for it, but if I'm doing stuff with the family, I will let you guys all know. But for right now, it is tentatively happening. All right, so maybe Anime Church.
You guys have a good one.
I'm hoping so. If you live in the U.S., I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. And if you don't live in the U.S.,
have a good day.
Have
a good week.
Have a good Thursday.
Until next week.
Hope your Thursday is
Have a
good.
good Thursday.
Have a good Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But until
Hey,
then,
it's
guys,
like, you know what? Like, you should have Thanksgiving too. Just go out and have your own Thanksgiving. Pseudo Thanksgiving day, you know.
I'm not gonna tell
may not be
anybody
able to do like any actual holiday. You may not be able to take that day off and whatever, but
I'm not telling everybody else how to deal with their fucking Thursday.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I'm giving suggestions. But...
That's it for us. We will see you for the next chapter of Slime here on apparently Fat Dog Reads.
Hey,
I mean, that's not a bad name.
That's
honestly.
not. That's
yeah,
not.
I'm happy
No.
with that one.
That's not what
Put
we're
that back in
calling
the
it,
pocket.
but yeah.
Yeah, that's
maybe-
not a bad thing.
We'll
Maybe-
see you all next time on Fat Dog Reads.
Maybe we'll do that when we move over from Slime to Mushoku Tensei.
Not a
By the
bad
way,
idea.
by the time we get done with, by the time we get to Mushoku Tensei, it will be done because there's only one volume left. It's 26 volumes and 25 of them have all been released.
Holy shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're right there.
Yeah,
So
And
we'll be able to read that one all the way to the end.
Also-
if we
also,
keep
How many
guys-
doing
volumes
it,
are there in total?
26.
Okay. So
Also,
about, like,
also, here's the thing: the volumes, while they may have like pages that seem bigger, they're not as big or they're not as tall or as wide as Slime. Like,
Mhm.
oh, so we can knock that out like same time we're knocking this series out, like right now,
here's the thing:
potentially.
this is Slime. This is Mushoku Tensei.
Yes, it's taller.
Yeah, it's taller and wider.
Mm-hmm.
It's taller
It's
and
gonna
wider,
be
so there's more content per
long time.
page. There's more content per page in Slime than there is in Mushoku Tensei. So when we get to Mushoku Tensei, we're gonna move through chapters and pages
Yeah.
pretty effing fast.
We're gonna have to.
Also, pages, chapters in Slime are gigantic. I have just read for 2 hours in Mushoku Tensei and gone through almost half the book. So we will go through.
So we
will
can
go
knock
through
them out
it.
like 2-3 streams.
Yeah, we'll go through Mushoku Tensei pretty fast.
Okay.
We will.
We could probably knock.
Sounds
I guess it probably would be like maybe a little over a year then, huh?
Oh yeah. Like I don't think
Maybe.
maybe. I think we can
Give or
probably
take,
knock
just
it
based
out
on what
in
he's
that amount
saying.
of time.
Also depends on how fast we're reading, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't worry, I will make sure we're going over the year.
I mean, when we get to
Very
when we
good.
get to Mushoku Tensei,
Yes,
there's
yes.
going to be a slight change in staff. I'm going to need a full-time female to just read some, like, because I think we're going to do more than just be like, this person gets X amount of time. We're going to start, like, pulling out characters.
We need voices.
Yeah, we're going to start doing characters.
yeah.
and
I
stuff.
would have loved to have been Zejian. I'm not gonna lie. I would have liked to take over Zejian.
But we'll see how that goes when the time comes, and we'll see if we can get people on.
I can be a deep
I mean,
voice
you have
female.
Soe, he has Raphael. Me and Moon don't have anyone specific yet.
You haven't been cast.
How you doing? Good looking. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's a
like
big
in
one.
this.
No, that's what I'm saying. You haven't been cast.
That
That's
is true.
why.
That is
That's
true.
why I'm Raphael / Great Sage, because that's my character in Slime Abridged, and he's Soe because
Yeah.
Are
that's
you
his
Zejian?
character in
Oh,
Slime
yeah.
Abridged. I am
That's-
not
yeah.
Zejian, and I'm not.
That-
I don't
Here's the
think he's shown
thing.
up.
I'm not auditioning
Oh, I'm not
for
saying
any
like
of
a
these.
cast to be a Zeji. I meant like just for this.
I'm not auditioning for any of these characters. Like in the Slime Abridged, I'm just like having fun doing voices.
Oh yeah.
Odds
Yeah,
are I
so
may cast some other
There's no
people.
like official
I
things.
don't actually like listening to myself when I have to audition. And when I audition,
Oh,
I
like
make sure
clean
that
that up. Yeah.
no, when I hear myself when I have to work on it and listen to, I'm like, I don't like it. Hate the sound.
I
of
have
my
to
own
like.
voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand.
I've
that.
noticed sometimes with me, I do an upward inflection, where so
Well-
I make it sound like I'm doing a question when I'm really not.
Anyhow, guys, it's almost 10. It's almost 20 minutes after 10. I have to get going.
We gotta
Thank
go.
you all
Go
so
get, go
much.
get your laundry.
Love you all.
Yeah.
Bye bye for now. See you hopefully soon.
Bye, guys.
But we will definitely
Bye.
see
We
you
don't die
Monday.
from turkey choking on turkey, whatever.
I
Bye-bye.
won't.
See
I
you later.
won't. Turkey's in my fridge. We're taking care of it.
Oh, same.
Yep. Bye.